2:01 on the clock. Padres Dodgers game 2 here at Petco Park. Currently, right now, Shohei Otani is throwing a simulated game. Oh. And the reason why I'm whispering is because we're not allowed to be on the field or in the dugouts while he's doing it.
Why? Can you be sitting in the press box?
Yes, we can. We're allowed to be in the press box. We can record from all the way up here.
Okay.
But you can't get too close to it.
Can't get too close. You can shoot footage of him throwing the simulated game as long as you have a bird's eye view, as it were.
Run out there and tackle him?
I don't know. I don't know what we would do.
That is possible in this day and age. I hate to tell
you. It is
you.
true.
From a media member?
I don't know. Did you see there was a Katy Perry concert I saw footage of in Australia this week, and not one, but like 50 different people came up on stage during the concert.
I did not see that.
And they're throwing people off the stage right and left. So in this day and age, anything's possible.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. A disappointing yet thrilling game last night. Padres Dodgers did not disappoint. As a matter of fact, it only made my proclamation that I had on another podcast last week that the Padres and Dodgers are the best rivalry in baseball. It only drove the point home. Dodgers jumped on the Padres in the first. Padres answered right back with 2 of their own. They got 1 in the second. Dodgers did answer. They got 1. Padres did, and it was nuts. It was that was not the Padre team we had seen over the previous 2 weeks from an offensive standpoint. They came to play yesterday. Unfortunately, they didn't have enough. Dodgers got those 2 runs in the extra inning frame. Padres were only able to get 1. They had an opportunity, just didn't come through.
Yeah, it was great theater. But just better than that, a great ball game. Certainly it's a disappointment, but give me about 100 more of those ahead of any game against Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh, Colorado, even Toronto, Miami. I ran into you guys real quick on the way down after the game, and Jesse said, "Well, this will give you something to talk about, or whatever are you going to talk about tomorrow?"
Right.
And of course, the first thing I thought of is I'm going to yell at Major League Baseball for making me wait this long for these guys to play.
Yeah,
that's all I kept thinking about last night. This is like great. The fans were incredible. There was more yelling and booing and cheering and screaming during Shohei's first at bat of the game than I've heard at Petco Park almost the whole season. I mean, just one at bat.
I'm not going to lie. I was a little concerned because, I'm here early. And so I see the park fill up slowly. I was initially a little concerned. I was seeing way more blue than I was comfortable with.
Yeah, there was a lot. But hey.
And although there was still a lot, I felt like the Padre fans did a good job of kind of drowning them out. The only time they really were able to get loud or kind of feel themselves was right at the end there when they were a strike away from or an at bat away from getting that win. They got louder, but I thought it was I just thought it was some good baseball.
Wasn't it nice to see, even when they were showing, as they do, at Petco, when they were showing the in between innings and they kept showing the people in the stands. Normally, that is the highlight of the night for people. Last night, people were more like focused on the game. And,
I did notice
talking about what was going on. Like they didn't even see the camera on them. This is the idea. We're supposed to be focused on the game. This is we were there for, and this was just so good last night, every step of the way. So
that's one of the things that sometimes will annoy me. Being here every day is that that camera comes on and everybody is like so into it's their shot on the big screen, so I get it. But there's sometimes we kind of miss out on like the moment that's getting ready to happen because we're so dialed into the entertainment portion. That wasn't the case last night. There was a few times where people didn't even know they were on camera. They were so locked into what was happening, what was getting ready to happen. That just doesn't happen often. It was fun. It was a great environment last night.
Yeah, let's have 12 more of those, which is what we have, and hopefully we'll get a little bit more in October. But yeah, great game. Had it all. Had a bunch of heroes. had a couple of, guys that wish things had turned out differently. That's what any good, story has. It has two great teams. They didn't play a perfect game, but then again, a perfect game might be 3-1. This was more fun than that.
Yeah, both teams made some mistakes, and both teams capitalized off those mistakes.
That's right. It was more fun than a 3-1 game, and came right down to the last swing, and Bogarts got under that ball. It's a line drive, maybe it's a base hit, and we're still playing. I just really enjoyed it. You can pick apart a bunch of different things. If
what
this
about
had
the call
happened,
Manny?
And that had happened. Yeah, it wasn't a great
I'll
call.
I'll tell you this,
but
it was a bad
call.
call.
Tony's call on this because it was so close. I don't know.
Yeah, no, listen, it's a ball. And the reason why I think obviously I think Manny would have been pissed either way, but it's a breaking ball. So it's not a fastball where it can kind of maybe cut the edge as it's going in. It's kind of wrapping around, and that's seemingly what happened. And I tell you this, I'll give Mike Estabrook a lot of credit, and I feel like this is a learned experience for him. It was about a week ago, maybe a couple weeks ago now. He got into an incident where I think a lot of people who watched it felt like he provoked the ejection by escalating the situation. Yesterday, and the ump cam is hilarious if you watch the whole thing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, man, he's coming right into your kitchen.
Like literally into your kitchen.
I thought he learned from that incident. I think it was in Boston that it happened. And allowed Manny in that moment to get off his chest whatever he had to get off. He didn't take it personally. You could see him. First he wore it, and then he started kind of moving away from Manny to allow Mike to get in between. I thought the call was bad, but I thought he handled that whole situation as good as you could handle it. That doesn't change the fact that he missed the call.
No,
but
he did. There's a couple of things. One of the things that's interesting, Tony, and I kind of interrupted you. I apologize.
No, you're good.
We talked about it yesterday with one of those other umpires in the Big Five.
Doug Eddings.
Doug Eddings. When you're sure of a call, then you can stand up for yourself. But when it's iffy in a situation like that, as the official, or in this case umpire, you've got to let the guy blow off some steam there. So I think the umpire did, understand the situation. Now, what I was wondering was this, because you're right, Tony, it was a breaking ball that seemed like it missed the location as well.
Right.
So it really looked like a ball, but when they showed the replay, darned if it was maybe a fraction of an inch from that white line. And in the box. And I just wonder if he had tapped the helmet back, we're next year now, or 2 years down the road. If he was able to tap the helmet, would they have gone to New York? Would they have overturned that and called that a ball? Because it was so close.
They better.
I know they better, but I don't know.
That's kind of what we talked about during spring. A lot of the calls that were, head tapped and checked, we're talking sometimes less than an inch in cases, and it has to be overturned. But that's not the case here. And here's what I will tell you: that particular pitch and the location of it, I could see why that wasn't like a battle fight it off type of pitch. It was a high breaking ball. Yeah. And if, he takes a hack at that, he's likely to pop that up. It just wasn't it would have been a tough pitch to
People
to kind
who
of
say
battle.
That he should have been protecting the plate.
Yeah.
It was so clear in his mind, the way it was a curve that was staying outside, that it was a pitch to take and pass the baton and keep the rally going. So look, you can blame a lot of things. I don't know. Everybody seems to be on Wandy Peralta's case today. Let's start with
let's go to that. Let's go
there. Let's start with the fact that any pitcher, Dennis Eckersley in his prime. Who else is a great closer? Give me somebody. You know what I mean? Trevor. If you put a runner at second base with no outs, the odds are pretty good, no matter who you are, that runner's going to score. And so, this notion that Wandy Peralta destroyed the game, the ball that Edman hit would have been grabbed by Jake Cronenworth. He was there. It hit the base and caromed over his head. That's what got the second run in. We can talk back and forth about whether Lockridge could have caught the first ball. It seemed like he could have from where I was sitting. So I don't know that I can leave this at the feet of Wandy necessarily here.
You can't leave it at the feet of Wandy. And you just brought up both reasons, right? It's almost assumed in extra innings now that first run is going to come in.
Right.
Because if you don't score the first run, it's almost a guarantee you're losing that game, right? Locke he took a bad route. There is no question. I said it while we were doing the broadcast.
Yeah.
That ball was hit hard. He took a straight line route. He should have opened up and kind of gone back towards the wall. Instead, he went towards the center fielder. And that cost him. That led to the first big hit, right?
Right.
And then the second one, as you said, Cronenworth is going to make that play. It hit the bag. At the very least, even if he doesn't throw the runner out at first, at the very least, the ball is not going in the outfield.
No.
The run hasn't come in to score. And so, I mean, listen, now let's put all that aside. Who else was going to come out? I mean, the Padres bullpen is in a rough shape right now. I don't think we could, and these guys are pitching through it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting there saying that anybody's ducking smoke.
They had nobody else available.
Who else was going to come out?
David Morgan was the only other option I can think of because Jason Adam was not available. So they didn't lose the game on that.
What about,
and that's what people are, looking at the wrong thing, I think.
We have to get the break.
Okay.
But
what's your question that I'll have to try to tear up when we come back?
It's not going to be torn up. Why not go with Robert Suarez again?
So he's going to pitch back to back, or he's going to have another 2-inning outing?
Yes.
Okay. We'll talk about it on the other side.
Okay.
I bet we will.
Hey, everyone. Tony Gwynn Jr. here to
Yes, I don't know if anybody heard. Mike Schilt has the afternoon off. Matt Skraby taking over at the reins. Yeah, Robert Suarez starting tonight.
Oh, gosh.
Go all 9 innings. See if he can't hold the Dodgers at bay.
Listen.
If you left us last inning, Skraby was upset that Suarez did not. Skraby was upset that Suarez did not pitch his second inning. It would have been his third game in the last 4, one of which is already a 2-inning game, right?
Which game was 2 innings?
The first one in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I was only looking at the Milwaukee series. But, yeah, he has pitched a lot. I just – listen.
I wanted the game badly, too.
Here's the deal.
We all wanted that game, but –
You can chase the victory, but there are consequences to that. And so, you know, he goes out, he throws 2 innings. You're not having him for today. If the Padres are in the lead.
Understand that him pitching 2 innings Monday in San Francisco – I thought led to one of their losses at the end of that series because guys were in different roles for games 3 and 4 because of that. And that's what Tony's saying. You can do it, but there's usually a price to pay. And,
okay, I have another suggestion.
Okay.
Why don't you put Wandy where Morihone was and wait for Morihone?
Hold up. You want?
Well, you see, okay, I don't know the exact situation when he came in.
No, we're going to go. I'm going to pull it up for you. I got it right in front of me.
This is probably going to prove why they didn't put Wandy.
I don't have you on screen right now, but are you just like britching up your pants and rubbing your hands together, getting ready for this argument, Tony?
Yes, he is.
Let's see.
He can't wait.
That's the 5th, 6th.
I think he came in for Estrada.
He came in for Estrada in the 8th after the first out.
Yes.
So he had no one on base?
He had nobody out.
So you want Wandy to face. He had Kim that inning.
He had to face Kim and Otani, and then Freeman. Freeman was his own fault, but he had to face him too. Yeah. I personally, and I think this is why they did it. They liked Morihone in those matchups versus Peralta.
Okay, I get that. I am all with you guys. I'm trying to understand. Like what? Because Chris brought this up a few weeks ago, and I can't get it out of my head.
Okay.
But he said, why don't you save Robert Suarez? I know you're going. Why don't you save him for the 10th and have someone else pitch the 9th?
That's literally not. You got to get to the 10th.
I know. But I still, I don't agree with Skraby, but I still think
it was your idea.
I know, because I think it. I think that if I know I have to get to the 10th, but I would rather have Suarez in the 10th. So I know I can't have both things. But I want that somehow because it's easier to get out of the inning with nobody on base than it is with a runner on second.
I'm just looking for different ways.
I think here's the different way that
Monday morning quarterbacking.
Well, here's what would have won the game is if Lockridge would have gone back and caught the ball as he should have, and Edmonds' ball missed the second base bag, the Dodgers probably would not have scored that inning.
Yeah.
And then the Padres would have won the game. But it wasn't to be. Look, I don't know how many hits there were last night, Tony, that actually bounced off of a base. I think Manny did it once. Freeman did it once. Yeah. Edmund did it once. I mean, it was just that fun of a night. You know, everything was. And Tyler Wade's triple was
my guy.
Half a foot. Yeah, it's your guy. Was a half a foot away from Teoscar Hernandez catching it. So it was just that kind of a game. It was. I loved it. I didn't love the result, obviously, but, give me a couple more of those and I'll be happy. So.
And I'll be happy.
Well, it's also fun because it's a kind of game that you can second guess a little, and that's part of the fun about it too, I think.
Do you think that Sean Reynolds is moving towards higher leverage?
That was pretty high leverage in itself.
The beautiful thing about Sean is he's showing his versatility right now. He could possibly pitch. Listen, there's no room for anybody to pitch after the 6th because you got Estrada, you got Adam, you got Suarez. These other guys are bonuses to have, right? Yeah. Having a guy like Reynolds who can pitch, who can start a game if you need him. He can go 3 innings out of the bullpen if you need him. He can come in and pitch a high leverage 8th inning if you need him. He's done that. Now your hope is that you can work a David Morgan, some of those guys into some of these backup late inning roles. Should these guys meaning Estrada, Adams, Suarez, start to have log innings. You want to be able to spread that out, especially this time of year which also is the point. We're in June. Running Suarez out there for multiple innings.
Thank you for that, Will
We gotta
Smith.
thank Will Smith. We'll talk about
You'll
Will Smith
understand
in the
that
Big
later
Five.
why we said that, but
I know it's
Yeah.
in June, and I keep telling myself that, and I'm just kind of again playing devil's advocate a little bit, but
No,
I can't say that I'm excited to see Wandy Peralta in the 10th, and that's
Well,
my
win the
problem.
game in 9 innings, then you don't have
Okay.
to see
There
Peralta
you
in
go.
the 10th.
Good answer.
Let's go ahead while we're being critical of people for no real reason. Let's pick up another one that I heard a lot last night. Why did Luis Arraez swing at the pitch when Fernando was obviously going to steal second base in the bottom of the 9th inning?
Wow.
Well, look,
Morning
unless
show was on this one big time today.
who was? Oh, the morning show.
was on
Okay,
this
well,
one
the
big
morning
time
show,
today.
with all due respect to my guys, Woodsy plays in an adult Sunday league. He's not standing in there against big league pitching. Tony, you have. So I'll go to you. How much time does Arraez have to recognize that? Number one. Number two, he's not even looking at Fernando unless the sign was given that it's a straight steal and you have to take the pitch. Arraez has about a half a second to decide whether he wants to hit that pitch. And if he hits a line drive instead of a fly ball, it's in the gap and Fernando scores and the game's over. And all of the Monday morning quarterbacks are not whining about it.
Okay.
So you tell me what it was.
Unpack all of that.
Yeah, unpack.
I think the first part, it just depends on the guy. Some guys have great peripheral vision. Some guys don't. And some guys, especially as a left-handed hitter, it's harder to see that guy who is on your right side take off. That being said, I know for me personally, I always could see that guy going. So maybe I have good peripheral vision. I'm not sure. I never really had that checked. That being said, the next thing, I don't know that, Luis, they didn't put a hit and run on. I don't know that at this point. I haven't spoken to Toddy or Luis. Third, the pitch was right down the middle of the plate. I can't emphasize that enough. If Toddy, let's reverse this. If let's say he takes it, Toddy still second, as I think everybody thinks he would have at that point. There's no guarantee anything gets done after that. Down 0-1 in the count. You know what I'm saying? Like
he would have been down 0-2, right? If he took it.
If he'd have took it, yeah, he would have been down 0-2. So like at that point, what are we asking him? I know he's a great 2-strike hitter, but no hitter wants to purposely hit with 2 strikes. Like the at bat literally becomes harder.
You hit the most important thing to me, and that is the pitch was right down the middle.
Right down the middle.
So if you're Luis Arraez, you're trying to knock it against the wall and win the game. That's the idea, isn't it?
Not to mention just last homestand on City Connect Day, Padres down 1 against the Pirates. Toddy steals. What does Arraez do? He doubles down the left field line. Toddy scores standing to tie the game.
What about the 9th in Milwaukee?
He also tied a game in Milwaukee. You people have very short memories, those that hate Arraez today.
Who are you calling you people?
All the people that hate Arraez out there.
It'd be different if it was a bad pitch. I don't think Arraez is immune to swinging at it. He's done it more than enough. But he got a pitch right down the middle. He just didn't hit it. By the way, at the end of the day, you still had a chance. 1 out, runner on second, down 1. You still had a shot
in the bottom of the inning, and Manny got the bad call. Merrill got a double, which gave you 2 more chances. There's more criticism, by the way, that well, no, not that inning. I take it back.
I was going to say, what?
Well, no, somebody complained.
Who's criticizing about a double or RBI double?
No, the criticism came in the fact that Sheets was not pinch hit for earlier against a left-hander. But in the bottom of the 10th, they had a right-hander pitch. Oh, no, they didn't. No, Scott was pitching. So why? Okay, I am right. Why didn't they pitch hit Iglesias for Sheets in the 10th? Well, because they knew that Sheets was going to pop out. That's why. No, Sheets, here's my answer to it. Sheets has been probably your best hitter, and he's been hitting lefties. So I did not have a problem with that choice.
Like where is that? Like, why is Iglesias the better matchup there? Because he's right-handed?
Apparently. In the minds of people that didn't like that decision.
I think, a lot of people, including myself, I think of the what ifs. Like, what if Arraez didn't swing at that pitch? What if this? What if that? You can't think about that in baseball because you just don't know, and you have to go with what you got.
Word.
That's my thought.
Pretty good.
Thanks, guys.
Pretty good for you. I wanted to see you extract yourself from that.
Well, I question things as much as the next person, but the some of the messages that I get are just so wild to me.
Well,
like,
people
Listen, I think again we talked about this. This is a smaller amount of people than you may feel like it is when the heat is on you or when the DM is in your DMs. And in some ways I get it because people they want their team to win.
That's what it is.
Yes.
They got to exercise some better. They got to come with.
Yeah, a little frustration and anger is better than no reaction at all.
Totally.
Right.
Totally.
Sure.
I get it. I mean, everybody just that's what it comes down to. Bottom line, all fans want their team to win.
But some of the stuff is a little over the top.
I do feel like there are some people out there that want them to lose so that they were right.
Oh,
right
yeah,
about
sure.
what?
Oh, whatever thing they predicted before the year. This team's not going to make the playoffs, and then they're hoping all year they don't make the playoffs.
Unless Tony's seen something, the Dodgers still have not officially named their starter for tonight. I don't know how long they can go without officially doing that. I have seen in a couple of places right-hander Matt Sauer, who's kind of a 3-4 inning potential opener that could get the call tonight, but I don't think that's 100% certain yet.
I just want to point this out. Sometimes I know we got to go to break. I see you, Skraby. Oh, your computer's just frozen, I think. So your arms are just stuck up here the whole time.
Yeah, roller coaster.
A lot of times when that happens, and there's not a starter named,
right?
The opposing team will know who's probably starting.
Yeah.
They just are told, hey, we haven't announced it yet, but they'll send a message over.
I'm expecting Sauer just based on what they've been doing lately.
Well, I'm expecting Sweet.
Well, I just got kicked off of still TBD. I just got kicked off the chat there, guys. Sorry.
It's all right.
Put him back. Speaking of chat, we are going to chat with Alden Gonzalez of ESPN. He was at the game last night, sat 3 chairs down from me. I did not go over and introduce myself.
Oh, man, you should introduce
yourself. Isn't that terrible? Am I just the worst guy?
Goodness.
I thought about it like all night, and then the game was over.
Thank goodness.
What am I doing? So we'll have him on to talk about Dodgers, Padres next.
Gwynn and Chris on the
Chris, hello. Yeah, we're here in Cooperstown for 97.3 The Fan. So excited, the induction weekend for the great Trevor Hoffman. What a class he's going in with, too. Let's take a look. Of course, Alan Trammell from Kearney High School in San Diego. And then, of course, the Detroit Tigers, great shortstop. Jack Morris in a Tiger uniform there, but I always remember him pitching that 1-0 shutout in Game 7 of the 1991 World Series for the Minnesota Twins. Maybe the greatest postseason pitching performance of all time. Chipper Jones, Padre fans remember him. Every fan of a National League team remembers him because he would come in and do damage to that team. Only the second #1 overall pick in the Major League Draft, Chipper Jones, to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. The other is Ken Griffey Jr. Vladimir Guerrero. Never met a pitch he couldn't swing at. And powerhouse hitter for the Expos, and then, of course, the Angels at the end of his career. Jim Thome, over 600 home runs, mostly with the Cleveland Indians. And then, the guy down here on the end who used to get all these guys out all the time, Trevor Hoffman, the greatest Padre reliever of them all. Two of the greatest outfielders in the history of baseball. Of course, you've got Babe Ruth right here. Ted Williams right over there. I was wondering who the third outfielder would be. And then, of course, it hit me. Tony would be upset if I didn't say that the third outfielder, who will someday probably be displayed right here between these two guys, is obviously Mike Trout. And this is the San Diego Padres locker room here in Cooperstown. Obviously, a couple of jerseys there and hats, gloves, all-star stuff. I think the most interesting thing in this entire display, though, especially this weekend, is a picture in the top corner of Angus Young. He's the guitarist for AC/DC, wearing a Trevor Hoffman uniform, obviously playing Hell's Bells. I know that Trevor went to many AC/DC concerts and was honored by sitting in the front row to watch AC/DC play Hell's Bells in his honor. But there's a picture of Angus Young playing Hell's Bells for Trevor Hoffman, wearing the 51 jersey right there. Crisello, yeah, we're here in Cooperstown for 97.3 The Fan. So excited, the induction weekend for the great Trevor Hoffman. What a class he's going in with, too. Let's take a look. Of course, Alan Trammell from Kearney High School in San Diego. And then, of course, the Detroit Tigers, great shortstop. Jack Morris in a Tiger uniform there, but I always remember him pitching that 1-0 shutout in Game 7 of the 1991 World Series for the Minnesota Twins. Maybe the greatest postseason pitching performance of all time. Chipper Jones, Padre fans remember him. Every fan of a National League team remembers him because he would come in and do damage to that team. Only the second #1 overall pick in the Major League Draft, Chipper Jones, to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. The other is Ken Griffey Jr.
Crisello, Matt Skraby, Alden Gonzalez joins us here shortly. It was his first look at the Pods this year. I was giving him a lot of grief yesterday because I haven't seen much of him.
Yeah,
because he's been up in Los Angeles quite a bit.
He's kind of a homer.
Following his team. And then I know he don't have probably a big say in this. Probably his bosses, ESPN, are like, hey,
yeah, right.
You know, we need you to cover Otani and see everything he's doing. And quite frankly, I also told him this. I was like, plus, y'all thought this would be like a 20-game lead by now, and it's not. So now you have to come down here and check us out.
I think Alden's very fair to the Padres, though.
He is.
At his coverage,
I've given him
a
a hard time.
Yeah, he's on point with all of it. Do I have a
very
second
fair.
to tell a little fun?
Before you get to the fun,
okay.
let me get this little Suarez piece off my mind that my partner reminded me about right before we went to break.
Yes.
Do you guys recall last year how bad Robert was down the stretch? How dicey it got?
Yes.
For
yes. Should he be removed from the closer was a big
Yes, that was a
question.
conversation.
Yes.
That was definitely a conversation. Do you know what happened a lot early in that season?
He was used a lot.
He not only was he used a lot, he had quite a few more than 3 out saves, the 5, the 4s. We talked about it quite a bit on our show. And that all came earlier in the season. And so I just say that because you ask folks asking for him to go out for another 2-inning joint and keep the good times rolling. You might feel differently come August and September like y'all was last year when it was a little rocky for him.
I'm thinking Mike Schilt and co. They're learning from last year.
1,000%. It's not. Listen, you want a guy that can do that, but most guys can't. Like, it's tough. And what they learned was probably would have been better to maybe not chase those couple of wins there early and have his arm a little bit in better shape coming into the season.
No, as Skraby said, Mike Schilt, Padres learning. Skraby himself, not learning.
Not so much.
Still mad. All right, here's my little levity story.
Yeah.
I think this is right. I walked in to say hello to Tony and Jesse very quickly last night, between innings. Ducked in, hello, between innings. I'm going out the door. And as I'm going out the door, Dave says down to both you guys,
Dave Marcus.
Hey, Sean Reynolds is coming in the game. And Jesse and Tony look out there, and it's actually Yuki Matsui.
Oh, no.
And Jesse started in with some, I missed all of it, but he said something like, did you just confuse Sean Reynolds with Yuki Matsui? Now, you can tell me how that ended, Tony, but I didn't hear the end of it. But
we relish the opportunity when he allows, because that doesn't happen all the time.
No,
but when
definitely
he
make a
messes
mistake.
one up,
yeah, right.
I'll tell you what, it usually only happens in spring training, and you can make the reasons why. I mean,
Oh yeah, spring
number
training.
75, number 72. There's like 2 76s. So occasionally it happens, and we get on them then. But yesterday was special because of the difference between Sean Reynolds and Yuki Matsui coming out.
I love
and
it.
we obviously we caught it ourselves, so it wasn't that big a deal. But we were not going to miss the opportunity to jump on my man Dave.
Sorry,
Marcus.
Dave, I tossed you right under the proverbial bus
He's not here. He'll hear about it later.
I couldn't help it.
Let's bring our guest on today. Alden Gonzalez, ESPN, joins us. Alden, man, it had been a long time until I saw you yesterday. But how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. It's not my fault that this is the latest the Dodgers and Padres have played in the season since 2000. I'm a victim of the schedule.
Yeah, you are, but you could have came down a little bit earlier and checked on us pods out here, but it's all good.
Yeah,
we got you
you're not
now.
wrong. You're not wrong.
Alden, his first matchup, as you mentioned, between the two, seemed to live up to all the hype that had been preceded it, huh?
Yeah, no matter how much talk goes into the beginning of these series about how it's just another game and, we play who's on the schedule, you watch these games unfold and you think it's anything but. I mean, I think it's pretty clear that, the intensity is there. Those first 3 innings were as entertaining a first 3 innings as I've seen in a game all season. And it was tight all the way through. I think you saw urgency with the way both managers deployed their bullpen. And look, if it weren't Dodgers Padres, it would still be 2 division rivals who are separated by 1 game going into this series. Now, layer on top of that it is Dodgers Padres, and you can't help but have intense games. And I'm so glad that game 1 lived up to the billing, and I can't wait to see what the next 6 have in store. I think it's really cool that they've kind of jumbled them together the way they have this year.
Alden Gonzalez, our guest. First of all, my apologies. I sat about 3 chairs down from you last night and meant to go over and introduce myself the whole game until the game was over. So very poor manners on my part, but thanks for coming on.
You could make up for it today.
I won't be there today. They won't let me.
Oh,
come
you have
back.
to go down there. You have to go down
They
there.
won't let me back after I
Now
lost.
you have to come.
Yeah,
now
no
you gotta
kidding,
go.
no kidding. But you kind of touched on what I've been screaming for the last month, and a lot of us have, which is why haven't the Dodgers and Padres played, et cetera, et cetera. This is a baseball thing. This isn't a Dodger-Padre thing. They took away a lot of the division matchups for more interleague play. Is there a any groundswell of support to change this back? Or are we the only ones angry about it out here?
I haven't heard a lot of that, to be honest. I will say, though, and I think it was actually Tony who pointed this out to me yesterday. I didn't realize that they're not facing each other in September. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. But
that's absolutely
I don't
correct.
know about – yeah, that is surprising to me. And, I mean, Major League Baseball is well aware that this is a legitimate rivalry at this point. I mean, if last year's division series didn't emphasize that, nothing will. And to just not – it's not so much to me about the volume of the games, but it's the timing of these matchups. And I think more specifically, I would love to see these matchups play out down the stretch of the season when playoff seeding is being decided, when division winners are being decided. And for that to not happen, making a baseball schedule of 162 games for 30 teams sounds impossible to me. So I wouldn't be able to do it. But if I were doing it, I would make sure that Dodgers Padres are matchups that are playing out in the second half of September. I'm also kind of surprised too that none of these 3 games here are being aired on national television.
Yeah.
I know those are decisions from other corporations, but come on, these games I think should be going on at 5:00 Pacific time at least, so that the rest of the country can watch this. I mean, half the country couldn't watch last night's incredible baseball game, 10 innings it was like a 3-hour game. It went by so fast because it was so action-packed. And for half the country to miss out on that, I don't think that's good for the game.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Hopefully it's just a one-off in terms of not having the matchups in September, because hopefully this is not something consistent. Alden Gonzalez joins us, ESPN. Alden, I don't know, are you in the building yet? Are you here yet?
Yes, sir.
So I know you saw then what was probably going to be the Major League Baseball story of the day, which is that Shohei Otani threw another simulated game. He had some ups and downs, and I know you haven't got down there a chance to kind of see how he felt, but I mean, in terms of what you're hearing around Otani's return coming on the mound, how much are the Dodgers really relying on it at this point, considering that they don't have a ton of healthy starting pitchers?
They're actually not relying on it, which I think is interesting in and of itself, because you're right. They are so injured throughout their rotation once again this year. Roki Sasaki, Tyler Glasnow, Blake Snell, Tony Gonsolin most recently. It seems like every 4 or 5 days they're having to stage these bullpen games. And I think that it would be very easy to just sort of try to rush Shohei Otani through this pitching progression, but they are adamant that they can't do that. They believe that, first of all, he needs to build a proper endurance to be able to take on a two-way role again. They want to maximize the strength in his right arm, particularly around his surgically repaired right elbow. There's also the factor of he's so important to their offense that they can't afford anything to go wrong on the pitching progression side, because they don't want to lose him in their lineup. So that's another factor of this too. And I think too, I spoke with Andrew Friedman, their president of baseball operations, about this recently. They, in their mind, they want to set him up to be a two-way player, to be a member of their rotation for years thereafter. So they want to keep him fresh for October, but also they want him to be a member of their rotation in 2026, 27, 28, 29. And they believe that the best way to do that is to be as methodical as they can on the pitching progression side, especially because if you remember, he had a torn labrum in his left shoulder. That delayed things even further, especially with his off-season program. So I'm sure it's very tempting to rush him because they are so hurt right now, but they're trying to keep the long-term in mind.
Alden Gonzalez, ESPN, so good, great writer, and really, really good on the air. Nice of him to join us as always here, talking some Dodgers Padres. Alden, I think it depends what day it is. We're talking to the fans here, And they really either love this team and believe in this team and think with Manny, and Fernando probably getting back to it. He's in a slump right now, as is Merrill. But the Padres have enough. They have what it takes. They're going to get healthier, and they're going to make a great run at it. And then there's some days where they go, well, how are we ever going to do this with Bogarts and Cronenworth all struggling and Arraez only hitting singles? What is your take, just from a general, look at the Padres and what you see for them in the next few months?
I think good teams find ways to win games when they're not at their best. The Dodgers have done that for years, particularly during the regular season. Padres, as a team that is able to do that right now. As you mentioned, Tatis, Arraez, Bogarts, Merrill. Those guys are not at their best right now. It seems like Manny Machado's been, you guys know better than me, but it seems like Manny Machado's been carrying them for a month.
Yeah.
But they're winning games, and they're pitching well, and they're coming up with timely hits. And yes, they're winning a bunch of one-run games, and that stuff tends to revert back the other way sometimes. But I think they're showing the functions of a good team, a team that just finds ways to win. And no matter how shorthanded they might be, and after losing last night, they are 2 games out of the Dodgers for first place in the National League West. I think if you're a Padres fan, you got to feel really good about where they're at because, Tatis is going to get going again. I promise you that. Bogarts and Arraez and definitely Jackson Merrill will too. They're going to be better than they are right now. It doesn't mean that they don't have holes that they got to shore up. They got to shore up the bottom third of their lineup in drastic ways. And depending on how it goes with Yu Darvish and Michael King, they're probably going to have to look for starting pitching at the deadline too. But they are a better team than they've shown over these last few weeks. And even in the midst of that, they are accumulating wins. And I think that's a really good sign.
Alden Gonzalez joins us here, ESPN. And Alden, we moved into the month of June, which usually starts to be the time where teams start deploying major league scouts around the United States to see about this trade deadline that will happen at the end of July. You mentioned some of the holes the Padres have. How is it too early to tell how robust of a market it will be in terms of the type of players that will be available? I know some of the names that come to mind immediately are like Sandy Alcantara. He's the big pitching piece that comes to mind. Can't think of a position player that I think could be on the move. But what's your take in terms of, what that market will look like?
Yeah, look, the big pitching name is Sandy Alcantara. I think the big position player name is Luis Robert Jr. Both of those players are really struggling. And those are players who are going to move, or who, I should say, their teams would love to move. But they're not having good seasons. And because they're not having good seasons, they might hold on to them. And, to answer the initial part of your question, Tony, I think it is too early, not because of the calendar, but because, these extra playoff spots have just continually muddled the picture.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the trade market is going to be dependent on teams that we thought were going to be competitive, not being competitive. Because right now, the teams who for sure are going to sell are the teams who don't really have the pieces that you're looking for if you're trying to win. So if the Diamondbacks fall out of it, they are a fascinating team to watch at the deadline. Braves, same thing. I know the Blue Jays are playing a lot better, and they might fall out of it, but the Blue Jays have some intriguing pieces if they fall out of the race to trade. And I could go down the list. To me, those are the ones, the Braves and Diamondbacks are the 2 teams that jump out that can really shape the trade deadline picture. I think another team is the Rangers. If their offense continues to underwhelm, I will caveat that by saying, though, Chris Young, the president of baseball operations for the Rangers, Alex Fantabulous, same role with the Braves. It's just not in their respective natures to punt on seasons. But, at some point, if they keep losing games, you got to take a real hard look at yourself and maybe capitalize on a trade market that is really very much a seller's market. So that's what I'm watching right now. The teams that we thought were going to be competitive falling out. If that happens, I think there's going to be a lot of options. If not, teams are going to be scrounging for the barrel, basically.
Alden Gonzalez, I've got another minute or two, and I want to steal you for as much time as we can. To me, the most historical thing that's happening in baseball is actually happening in Denver because the Rockies are, doing things that are never seen before by any of us. Is baseball involved at all? I mean, can they do anything about the ownership, about this team, this organization? Or does baseball not really care that one of its teams is that embarrassing?
I mean, it would have to take really drastic measures for, think of a bankruptcy situation like Frank McCourt with the Dodgers for Major League Baseball to get involved. Remember that Dick Mumford is a very important part of Rob Manfred's ownership committee. Yeah. So I doubt that that's going to happen. Outside of that, there's really nothing that they can do. It's tragic what's going on in Colorado. I've spoken to players who played with the Rockies this season. We did a piece to kind of commemorate the 30th anniversary of Coors Field opening. And, almost everybody I spoke to said that, like, they love playing there in terms of the atmosphere, how into it the fans are. Like, it's just, in a vacuum, it's a great place to play. And it's just a shame that nobody's been able to really capitalize on that. Look, and Tony, you could speak to this better than I can, but, like, playing in mile-high altitude is really difficult. Coming off mile-high altitude to play road games is really difficult. It's a major adjustment for hitters, pitchers. And I think what that organization demands is innovative thinking, right? Like people who are on the cutting edge, who can look at things differently, very creative, smart minds that could attack a problem in a different way. And the Rockies have done the opposite. They're the most insular organization in baseball. All they do is promote from within. They don't work. They don't look from the. I've spoken to a handful of GMs, former GMs, current GMs, who have told me, and this might surprise you guys, but that they would love to take on that job. They would love to take on that job and see what they can do with it.
Yeah.
Because it's just ripe for innovation. And the fact that they haven't tapped into that really boggles my mind. And that's why they are where they're at.
Interesting.
Alden, as always, man, solid. We appreciate your time, man. I'll catch you at the stadium a little later.
Thanks, Alden.
Sounds good. Take care, guys.
Alden Gonzalez, as always, on point. Love having him on. All right, we got to get
real quick before we go to break. Skraby, can you go back and replay what he said about the Padres and keep that handy for the next month so that we can play it to all the fans who overreact every time they lose a game?
He spent 10 minutes talking about the Padres.
It wasn't 10 minutes. It was about a 2-minute thing that was so perfect about what he thinks.
You find it, I'll pull it, Chris.
Wow.
He's putting you to work.
Well, I mean, he goes, can you find that thing that he said about the Padres?
I'm not asking you to find something from 12 years ago. 12 minutes ago.
I
we'll
know,
find it.
But you're not understanding. It's tough to know what you're talking about.
I'll tell you.
More Gwynn and Chris on the other side.
Oh, gosh. I'm going to get yelled at in the break, everybody.
Hey, it's Ben and Woods. We love San Diego, and this isn't just a sleep.
Gwynn and Chris. Day number 2 of Padres Dodgers out of Petco Park tonight. Jesse Agler, Tony Gwynn Jr. will have the call. Sam Levitt will have the pregame show after our show is over at about 5:40 this afternoon. Thanks to Alden Gonzalez from ESPN for catching us up and talking a little Dodgers Padres with us. Last night's game, again, was really, really good. And we've been trying to pick apart the Padres, and they should have done this, and they could have done that. But there were so many fun things about it, and it's a bummer to lose it. I get it. I thought, before we get to the daily gambit here, Nick Pivetta, I think people are going to say, well, that was a bad outing, and, the Dodgers, hit him up pretty good, and, now I have a little concern over Nick Pivetta. You know how you fans can be.
Don't separate yourself like that.
Right. Because I'm not thinking that way.
Well, if you're going to blame someone, blame him.
I'm not blaming him for anything. He gave up some runs to a really good team. But I will tell you this. When he left the mound after 4 innings, his team still had a chance to win. As a matter of fact, they were actually still leading the game. Yeah. And that's because I believe it was both the 3rd and the 4th inning with 2 runners aboard and a chance really for the Dodgers to put the game out of sight. He came up with big strikeouts.
Yeah, he did.
To keep the inning and keep the game. And I've always said this about pitchers, and I think you've heard this too, and this isn't any great shakes, but anybody can pitch well when you're pitching well.
Right.
When all the pitches are working and everybody hitting a ground ball to shortstop, it's really a fun thing to pitch, man. You can't wait. But when you're not quite hitting your spots, or when a good team like the Dodgers is putting a hurting on some of your pitches, to still come through and keep your team in the game. I thought Pivetta showed me a lot last night. I know a lot of people probably didn't have that same takeaway, but I did.
There have been a few starts in the past 8 games where you've seen that. You saw Kolek go out, have his rough outing, bounce back, keep his team in the game. They come back and win. You saw it from Kolek twice, actually, where he had a rough kind of first. You saw it from Berger in his first outing. Kind of got roughed up a little bit in that 2nd and 3rd in San Francisco, righted the ship, kept his team in there to have a chance to win. Pivetta's another one last night. I know you're right, Chris. The damage was done early, but there was more damage to be had, and he stopped it before he came out of that game, before he came out in the 4th. As you said, the Dodgers had a chance to blow that game open, and he got a big punch out, a couple big punch outs to get out of that inning. And I think that's an underrated. I don't know if it's underrated. I just don't know that you had to see this from the Padres as much last year. It was more so guys filling in and stepping up. But they've showed a lot of moxie, a lot of marbles, if you will, in some of those spots.
Well, Skraby was certainly celebrating last night in the 3rd inning when his guy, Tyler Wade, came up with the bases loaded and 2 outs and stuck one in the gap. Again, I think, if he makes a perfect play, Hernandez maybe even catches that ball, but he didn't. And you end up with a 3-run triple. Skraby's sending texts to everybody he knows.
I said it to you guys. I'm a genius.
He's my MVP.
Guess what I got in my DMs, though? Sorry to cut you off, Chris, which I do all the time.
No, that's fine. What'd you get?
I got, if Teoscar Hernandez was a little bit faster, the triple would never happen.
Okay.
Can we stop with doing it? It did happen. It did.
It's a triple in the book.
It did.
It's a triple. It gave them the lead. I'm going to tell you that I did a little Monday morning quarterbacking during the game last night, and
it was actually Monday night quarterbacking.
Right. And I had my guy Sammy Levitt sitting right next to me, and he agreed with me. So I don't put this all on me, but here goes. In the 6th inning, it was still tied 5-5 or 6-6. Tyler Wade came up. against Banda was the left-handed pitcher in the game for the Dodgers. At that moment, out goes Wade, in comes Lockridge. For the platoon, lefty-righty. I was okay with that on the surface, but I told Sammy right there at the moment, and I said, and he kind of agreed with me, I don't know that I would do this right here. Wade has been hitting great, and I would keep Wade in because this spot in the order will come up again later in the game, and I'd rather have Wade against a righty than Lockridge against a righty. I think managers, and this is not just Mike Schilt, I think managers overuse the platoon thing sometimes. And I thought Wade was the better option, the guy I'd rather have at the plate last night later in the game. That's just something I'm throwing out there. I don't think it wasn't a ghastly error or anything like that.
It goes with what they've been doing.
I understand that, but again, once you take Wade out, now Lockridge, you lose the ability to use him as a pinch runner later in the game. And I just think you left yourself a little shorthanded. They're already very shorthanded on the bench as it is, because Luis Campusano's taking up a uniform but not playing ever. So they don't really have a lot of moves they can make late in a ball game. Tony's strangely silent right now.
I didn't know you were asking my opinion.
No, I'm not. I'm just throwing it out there for conversation.
I'm asking Tony's opinion.
I think, listen, I didn't have a problem with the move. They have been going with Lockridge late in games for defensive replacement. He is the natural outfielder.
Yeah.
I can't recall T. Wade swinging the bat well against lefties, but I just wouldn't look. He's hitting 294 against lefties, so maybe you can leave him in. But I think it was more, yeah. I mean, listen, maybe that's one that he could go back and redo. But I think ultimately, most managers are going to take their righty lefty matchup there versus the lefty on lefty, even if the lefty is swinging the bat well. Now, maybe that changes down the line. Plus, Lockridge has come up in those spots and had some success. It was really one of the first bad routes I've seen him take defensively in last night's game. It ended up being in a big spot, but I can see you're thinking a little bit.
I'm thinking the Lockridge had a restless night. He must, because he's this guy, man. I can't think of a guy that cares more about contributing to the Padres. And even though I'm sure everybody picked him up, I know he thinks he should have caught that ball in left field. And I think he's probably putting a lot of this game on himself. And I hope that's not the case. But this is part of playing in the big leagues, right, Tony? You got to find a way to bounce back from this the next day. And as they say, start from zero again.
I've told you guys my horror story coming in as a defensive replacement in the 9th inning and butchering a ball. Fortunately, my closer got me out of it. But, yeah, man, I mean, it happens. It happens. It's funny. Lockridge and I were having a conversation, and we didn't even do the daily gambit, by the way. But nonetheless.
Yes, well, we had you, so we're going to keep you and do that in the next segment.
I was having a conversation with Locke, and we were just he was talking about, the difficulty of that role. Remember, Locke has spent his time in the minor leagues playing every day.
Yeah.
So this is a new thing for him to be sitting as long as he has and then being asked to do it. And the one thing I tried to impart on him was, the tough part is that you're probably going to feel like that most days not playing. Like you're going to not feel yourself. And I said the trick is to try to get your mind and your body to align even when you are going to feel bad. It just really becomes about you going out there and competing. I think he's done a really good job of that. I just think he had a rough night last night in terms of that defensive play and how he looked at the plate.
Yeah. Well, and let's also, one thing we haven't mentioned, the Dodger bullpen was really good last night. I don't know if people really noticed it, but after the Wade triple in the 3rd inning, the Padres got 3 base runners the rest of the game. That's it. A walk. I think actually Sheets got a single in the 5th inning.
Sheets was the last single until what, the 8th or 9th?
No, until Merrill hit the double in the 10th inning.
That's right.
That's it. The only other base runner was Fernando's walk in the 9th inning. So the Dodger bullpen, give them credit, but it'll be interesting to see now what both bullpens do tonight because they both were used a lot last night.
I'm pretty
right?
sure that, and I think that was why. I think that's why Dave stuck with May one extra inning because they knew today was coming and they were most likely going to be tapping into that bullpen.
And according to MLB lineups, the Dodger lineup is in, but they list Lou Trevino, the reliever, as their starting pitcher.
Lee Trevino's a golfer. Chris.
Not Lee Trevino, Lou Trevino.
Oh, Lou Trevino.
Yes. We're talking about Lou Trevino.
Lee Trevino. Yes, he is a golfer.
I thought he got confused for a second. I thought I got confused for a second.
Padres are countering with Harris English tonight.
Tony, EC Money on the chat is asking you or both of you were there. So Manny Machado's drop ball. What did you guys see?
Well, he didn't drop
the
the
ball.
ball.
No, I'm sorry, his air.
Didn't get near him.
He lost it. Just T-Way was out there doing this. He didn't see it. You talking about the ball that fell in? Yeah. They just didn't see it. I think it was hit because the runner was going.
Yep.
And he was playing in like that shortstop area. He went down to deke like it was on the ground. And then when he went to go find it again, he just never found it.
Right.
After that. So
I think that would have been Bogart's ball in general, but he was over covering the bag as well for the potential steal. But it did look weird to the fans because you don't see a ball drop that far away from a fielder very often.
What you guys don't get to see because the camera doesn't pick it up is the ball's hit, the runner's going on the pitch, and Manny like fakes like he's fielding a ground ball to get my man to kind of get disoriented, slide maybe.
Right.
But then the problem was that the time of night it was kind of like that twilight. It's still a little bit light. And once the ball goes above the lights in that part, you can't, it's tough to see. And so Wade standing like this, he didn't see it. He was never going to get to it anyway. And then Manny never saw it either.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
We'll take a break. Tony, I'm sure you're probably on your way.
Nope, I got another segment.
Oh, good.
Oh,
wow. Well, hey, look out. Okay. Well, Daily Gambit after we check traffic, folks.
From the 855.
Matt Skraby. Better get to our daily gambit, Mr. Skraby. By the way, coming up at the bottom of the hour, a fantabulous sports game show. Don't miss that. First, don't miss this.
A Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit is our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly. For all the Arraez haters out there, I would like to tell them this. Since May 16th, Padres players with runners in scoring position, Luis Arraez has the most hits in that position since May 16th. He's gone 6 for 16. Tyler Wade 3 for 8. But for all those haters out there, Luis Arraez is doing just fine, driving in runs. Okay, I'll move on.
I'm honestly convinced that if my dad were playing right now, people would have the same sentiment.
That is a really interesting debate we should get into, or a topic we should get into one day.
I honestly believe that.
I don't
Can't believe all
with
he
you.
does is hit singles. That number 19.
Who's that guy?
Toss him.
Who wants singles? Who wants a slap hitter?
Tell
Anyway,
you, this is the first time it's been said. I mean, they were saying it then too.
that's true. All right, Dodgers minus 1.5 last night on the run line. Chris and I took the Padres. Padres won the bet. They did not win the game. Under, over, number of runs in the game, 8.5. Both Chris and I went under. We were wrong. It was 15. Who had more strikeouts, Pivetta or Dustin May?
Pivetta 3-1.
Pivetta 3.
Yeah, May only have
to
one.
1. Wow, I didn't realize he only had one. So he actually, or we both picked Pivetta, so we were good there. I realized I thought I went through all these bets, but I did not. So give me a second as I go
I have
to
the
my
results. Just go
app.
ahead.
Okay, please go ahead.
No, I was just going to say you can say them, but I'll just tell you.
Okay.
who
Total
won.
bases, Otani or Machado?
Machado won 3-2 on that one.
Dang. Okay, so I got
Manny
that
had
one.
a double and a single.
Take that, Otani.
Otani had just a double.
Chris Sale, over under 7.5 strikeouts. I did look this up. He had 11. Chris
Yeah.
went under. I went over. Florida Panthers minus 1.5 over Edmonton. We both picked the Panthers. We were both correct. They won 6-1.
Yeah.
Over under 6.5 goals. Under, you said, I said over. It was 7, so I got that one. More saves. Not Bavara, or not Skinner. Skinner did not save many things.
Skinner didn't save anything and didn't finish the game.
No,
So
Bobrovsky
won
wins
that one.
32-18. We both went with Bobrovsky. Duke minus 2.5 over Murray State. We both took Murray State. Murray State headed to the College World Series.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's quite actually annoying.
Why? This is awesome.
San
Because
Diego
Tony
State
and I
has-
went to San
yeah.
Diego State where they can play some baseball, and we never got close to the stupid World Series. Now Murray State is in there of all teams.
Speaking of that, I was
Please.
on a Zoom call with our good buddy Black.
Yeah,
And let me tell you guys, this guy looks 10 years younger than he did
I bet.
when I saw him in
He's a
Colorado.
happy
And I
guy,
told him,
huh?
I was like, man, I'm so happy for you. You look so
Yeah.
good right now.
That's good to hear.
His like skin was glowing. It was crazy.
He's finally got
Goodness,
sleep
good.
for the first
He
time in 10
probably is
years.
sleeping through the night again. It was
Yeah.
good to see, buddy, man.
I'm glad to hear that
Yes.
bit of good news.
Final one, Valkyries at the Sparks last night. Sparks are 7.5-point favorites. We both chose Sparks. We were both wrong. Valkyries win 89-81.
Valkyrie's pulling off some upsets here. They
Valkyries
took down the
have,
Aces.
Yeah,
other
Valkyries have done
day?
okay in
Yeah.
their expansion campaign. Tonight it's 8 runs over under, guys. Padres Dodgers 8 runs. Tony, you can go first since you're
I'm going
with
to
us.
go over.
Gonna say over. Skraby?
I'm going to go over too.
I'll go under. Last night was
Too much. That was the all the fireworks we're going to get.
just
I mean,
not
Lee
all.
Trevino's starting for the Dodgers.
Yeah,
There's going to be
but
lots
he's
of
only going to pitch one. Lee Trevino, yeah, he's only going to hit play 2 holes. Then he's going to give
I
way.
see what you did there.
I think Dylan Cease. Come on, Dylan. He's due for one of those just crazy 7-inning 1-hit things. I hope.
I'm down for an 8-0 game.
Yeah.
9-0 game.
Okay. Giants 1.5 at the Rockies. Now, we always pick against the Rockies here. Yeah, we always pick against the Rockies, but understand this. The Giants have played, this is crazy, 7 consecutive one-run games.
Wow.
The Giants, and they've won
we thought,
5
we thought
in a
we
row.
had it bad.
Yeah, they've won 5 in a row, but they haven't beaten anybody by 2 runs. Tonight they will. I'll take the Giants over the Rocks. Tony?
Yeah, I can't pick the Rockies.
Can't pick the Rockies. Skraby?
Giants.
All Giants there.
So know that you could pick against the Rockies every game.
Yeah.
From here on out, and your win percentage would be probably over like 75%.
Yeah, believe me, the books in Vegas are losing a lot of money because of this. Because people are figuring it out, just pick against them every time. All right, Mackenzie Gore, NL strikeout leader, 6.5 Ks tonight at the Mets. Skraby.
6.5 Ks. I mean, he's been really good. I'm going to go over.
I am too. Mackenzie Gore has proven it. The only thing he can't ever get is a win. He's only got 2, despite pitching as well as he
Maybe
has.
he should have thrown at Manny last year.
Tony, don't
profile me.
Don't start when we're.
I'm not even gonna.
Just let him
dignify it,
let
as
him
you
go
said
over,
earlier.
do his thing. Over
I think that he goes under.
Under.
Mets won't punch that much
Mets
today.
won't punchy. All right. New York Liberty 16.5 over the Chicago Sky. I believe they are. The Liberty's 8-0. Minnesota's 9-0. Those 2 teams are running away with the league. Chicago is off to a poor start. 16.5 point spread would indicate that. Game is on national television tonight. Maybe Chicago will show up and keep it semi-close. I'll take Chicago. It's a lot of points. Tony?
I too would take Chicago.
Chicago. Scrape?
I'll go Liberty.
NYL.
Liberty.
Defending champions. And Angel Reese continues to be incredibly polarizing. She's only averaging like 5 points a game this year. 12.5 rebounds, but she's not making any field goal attempts. Nevertheless, her over-under for points is 10.5 tonight. Tony?
Over
for Angel. All right. 10.5. Scraby?
She seems like she does her best work on
when she's
national
on TV.
television, so I'm going to go over as well.
Yeah. I'm going to say under just because the Liberty is actually a good team. So I think she's going to struggle a little bit to score. But Angel did win an award today. I think it was the Bet Network, female
BET.
BET, yes, a female. Well, that's okay.
I mean, in this day and age, a Bet Network is a thing.
No, you're right.
You're
right. It's not okay. It's BET, right?
Black.
Black Entertainment Television.
There you go.
There you go. She was their female athlete of the year for the 3rd time. The only player that's ever done that, along with her now, is Serena Williams. So pretty good company for Angel.
Who I got to see be an athlete in person.
That is true. When
I'm gonna tell that story to the day I die.
Yes,
the Met Gala. Tony saw Serena Williams.
I saw
Serena
over
suitcases.
No, not falling over suitcases.
No, she avoided the suitcases.
Hurling suitcases.
Hurdling.
In a Met Gala dress, too, by the way, I might add.
That is impressive.
Aha.
What?
No, Tony's correcting.
Oh, I thought you said okay. Is that
right,
it?
thank you, guys. We have we have the Fantabulous Sports Game Show. I believe Skraby's the defending champion. Tony and
Champ is here.
Tony and I'll have to do something about that during the break.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys will have to.
Hey, make sure you send me those answers here as soon as you can.
Yes, sir. It's coming over by carrier pigeon right now.
Chris is like, I never used Google Docs except for the past 7 years when I sent it to Tony.
I keep claiming I don't know how to use it.
You guys cheat. We know it.
More Gwynn and Chris coming up.
Coming up on Wednesday's show, I'll be live at the Loft in the
9:35 is the time. Chris Ello, Tony Gwynn Jr., and Matt Skraby getting ready to defend his title.
Trevor's here.
In the Fantabulous Sports Game Show. You can play along. We'll start it here momentarily. Padres Dodgers lineups are out for Game 2 of the series. They look, at least from the Padres side, Scrabe looks very familiar to what I saw last night from the Padres.
Yes, everything is the same, and I'll read it in just a second. There we go. Fernando leading off, Luis Arraez second, Man Machado third, Jackson Merrill fourth, Gavin Sheets, DHing, batting fifth, Xander Bogaerts batting sixth, shortstop, Jake Cronenworth playing second, batting seventh, T. Wade left field batting eighth, Maldonado catching, batting ninth, and Dylan Cease on the mound.
Yeah, Celias Diaz subbed in for Maldonado tonight. Dodgers looks a little different from last night. Of course, Shohei, Betts, Freeman, that's a given in the top three. Teoscar Hernandez. Max Muncy moves up a slot to fifth. Andy Pajes to sixth. Michael Conforto, having a terrible year, is in left field, batting seventh. That means that our guy, Hai-Sung Kim, is not playing tonight. Tommy Edman will bat eighth again. And then the catcher tonight will be Dalton Rushing, who's a left-handed hitting rookie.
It's a big prospect.
Big prospect. I don't even know Dalton Rushing. I've never heard him interviewed. But I'm going to just predict, based on what I heard earlier and what you will hear later, that Dalton Rushing is just a more pleasant guy than Will Smith. I'm sorry.
I'm not going to make that call because I don't know.
Yeah, I know. But Will Smith is rubbing me like the wrong way with a bunch of his stuff. And
he's just very he thinks he's like funny and he's not.
He wasn't funny today. We'll hear what he said in a little bit later in the Big Five.
You would think he learned when he called Jerks and Profar irrelevant.
That was uncalled for. He never apologized for it. He never really seemed like he even cared.
No, Jerks and Profar
said something that rude.
Hit a
to another
bases clearing double on Sunday Night Baseball. So
look, that's neither here nor there. It's just it's an uncool thing to say. He's a fellow ball player. Anyway, Will Smith, he says a lot of stuff I don't care for, but he won't say it tonight because he'll be on the bench. Lou Trevino, not Lee.
Dang it, you stole my joke.
Lou Trevino, the reliever, will start for the Dodgers tonight at 6:40. Sam Levitt will start it all for us with the pregame show at 5:40. Now, are the contestants in position?
We got to wait for a second. Sam Levitt, or who else did you sit with last night? You were beginning
Just
to
Sam.
tell me. Just Sam? Did he stay with you the entire time? I'm killing time, so just give me a second.
Yeah, we hung. I stayed to the end of the game last night, first time all year.
Really, all 10 innings.
All 10 innings, and then I sat for another 10 innings in the tailgate lot trying to get out.
Oh
Wow.
man!
Wow.
Well, there was 45,000 plus there last night.
So what? It's a mess. That is a mess.
I don't disagree.
Expect me to be leaving early next time.
Okay.
All right, let's check some traffic, then get into our game.
5, get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury. Here's Kelly Danick.
Emergency crews on scene of a crash southbound 5 past La Costa. They got the right lane blocked. Further south on the 5 before Garnett, there is a collision involving a couple vehicles. Looks like you get the right lane blocked. Also southbound 125 before Troy Street, collision. Not showing if lanes are blocked for you there. Traveling on northbound 15 in the North County, right around Valley Parkway. Collision involving a couple vehicles, including a motorcycle. Right lane blocked for you there. And Kelly Danick with Gwynn Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, all you beautiful people out there, it's time to play one of our favorite games of the week.
All right!
We like to call it
I'm gonna go Chris's Fantabulous Sports Game Show.
It starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right. Here we go. The Fantabulous Sports Game Show. I know the Dodgers are playing the Padres this week. It's important, but I don't know, Skraby. I think the Fantabulous Sports Game Show right up there in the minds of certainly our listeners.
Yes.
In terms of, excitement, and hopefully we can have some excitement today.
One of the most asked about segments on our show is this one.
Yeah.
Do you let Tony win? The answer is no, I don't.
Tony, if you take a quick look, I'll show you the answers. Here we go.
See, you are in cahoots.
Okay. The category, I don't think it's confusing, but it may take a second to wrap your mind around. So I just want to make sure we get it. There's 15 correct answers today. You can play along out there. See if you can do as well as the guys or keep up with them. They'll take turns giving correct answers, and whoever gets to 8 first is going to win today. The Fantabulous Sports Game Show. The category is states that are home to champions. And I will be a little more specific now. Since 2020, this decade only, using Major League Baseball World Series champions, Super Bowl champions, NBA champions, Stanley Cup champions. We're also putting in NCAA football champions.
Oh my gosh, what are we doing?
And
here?
NCAA basketball champions. It sounds like a lot, but there's only 5 of each because the decade started in 2020. There's 5 champions in each of those 6 sports. Got it?
Oh, since 2020.
Since 2020.
Okay.
There's 5 champions.
Oh, since 2020.
Since 2020. Only this decade. There's 5 champions in each of the 6 sports. That's 30 champions, but they are represented by 15 different states in the country. You got to name the states that are home to those champion teams.
All right.
I could give you an example, but like if there was a champion, like if the Honolulu Islanders won the Stanley Cup,
I heard
then
they're pretty good.
Hawaii would be the answer to that one.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right, so Skraby, I think you're coming off I think you're coming off a win.
I think I am too.
So Tony gets to choose whether he wants to go first. That could be important today because you only got to get up to 8. If you miss one, of course, you get a strike. 3 strikes, you're out.
I will go first.
Tony will just go ahead and go first. All right, guess a state that has won a championship this decade in any of those sports, Tony.
Only in California.
Yeah, I'm going to start with that one. California is a good place to start. 5 championships in California this decade. The Dodgers, the Rams, the Lakers, and, actually the Dodgers twice, the Rams, the Lakers, and for some reason I'm not seeing the 5th, but
do I get 5 points for
trust me.
Yeah, I was going to say, is there multiple points?
Oh,
you do not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's 5 in California.
He said, "Trust me."
Yeah, trust me. There's 5, but I'm missing one of them for some.
I said the Rams.
The Warriors.
You said the Lakers.
Dodgers twice, Rams, Lakers, and Warriors. Thank you, Skraby. 5 champions this decade. All right, so Tony's on the board, 1-0. Skraby, your turn for a state that's won a championship or more this decade.
Texas.
Texas has got 3. That is correct. The Astros and Rangers both won in baseball, and Baylor won an NCAA basketball championship.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, that's how that works. We're tied at 1. There are 13 correct answers to go. Tony's up.
Georgia.
Yeah, trying to schmooze in with the boss, Adam Klug.
That's what
Definitely not schmoozing.
No, I know you would never. But everybody needs to know. There's no way we wouldn't know this one because of Adam Klug. The Braves
it's
won.
not because of the Falcons.
No, it isn't. The Braves won 1, and the University of Georgia football went back-to-back. So those are the 3 for Georgia, and you guys are underway here. 2-1, Tony. Skraby.
I will go Florida.
Florida. Okay, you guys are getting the big ones out of the way, which is often how the game works. Florida's got 5 championships this decade. The Buccaneers won this decade. 2 by the Lightning, 1 by the Panthers last year, and then this year's NCAA basketball championship, Florida Gators. So you guys are taking all the big ones.
Yes.
There are 2-2 means 11 correct answers left. Tony, name a state.
How about for my mass heads out there,
Massachusetts. Very good, Tony. Boston Celtics are on the board in 2024. They're last year's NBA champs. So Tony scores there. He leads 3-2. And it is back to you, Skraby, with 10 correct answers to go.
What about Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania. That's a winner. The Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champions, are the lone championship in the state of Pennsylvania this decade. Tied at 3. You guys are cruising. We'll see if you continue cruising here. There are 9 left. Tony.
How about Colorado?
Colorado has 2. That is correct. The Nuggets won the NBA title. And the year prior to that, the Avalanche won the Stanley Cup. So Tony's got a 4-3 lead. Skraby with 8 correct answers to go.
To be clear, NBA, NHL, MLB, college football?
And college basketball.
Okay.
And, I think you didn't say NFL, but the 4 major sports, NCAA football and basketball.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir. All right, 4-3. Skraby with 8 correct to choose from.
Alabama.
Alabama has only 1, but that's enough. They won the 2020 college football championship.
Ooh, wow.
Alabama won that one. That is correct for Skraby to tie it at 4 with 7 correct remaining. Only of the 7 left, only 2 of the 7 have multiple championships. So it's getting a little tighter, but we'll see. Tony. Tied at 4.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Hello?
Connecticut.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's correct.
Yeah,
the Aztecs are well aware. Connecticut basketball won back-to-back, actually, 23-24. So Tony is correct, takes a 5-4 lead. 6 to go, Skraby. We're coming right down to the nitty-gritty with no strikes yet on either side.
Okay. Let's go with.
Are you playing strategy here? Because you get in trouble when you play strategy.
No, I'm just
every time.
There's one team I have no idea.
You don't know where they're located?
I mean, it's kind of confusing, but I'm gonna say Missouri.
Missouri. Why is that confusing to you?
Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas City's in Missouri.
Where did you
pretty
think it was
sure.
at?
Yeah, where'd you think?
Kansas?
I believe there's a little piece of Kansas City in Kansas.
Yeah, I'm not an idiot.
Yeah, you kind of are.
No, I am not.
Everybody knows
No one
Kansas
has
City's
said-
in
yeah,
Missouri. All right, we're tied at 5. There are 5 correct answers left, and all 5 have each won 1. So we're down to that, and it is Tony's turn. Tied at 5. Wait, are we 1, 2, 3? Yeah, 5.
Yes,
I didn't write one of yours down, Skraby, for some reason, or did I? I don't know.
It's 5-5.
We're definitely 5-5 for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tony.
Pennsylvania.
That is a strike because Skraby said that one earlier.
You even repeated it.
The Eagles. Skraby said that
I didn't
earlier.
repeat that one.
Yes, you did. You go Pennsylvania.
Tony
Oh, did I?
repeated one.
Dang.
That does not happen very
That's
often.
what I get for not writing these down this time.
I know.
Okay.
So now that gives Skraby a chance
Don't
to take the
screw
lead
it up,
here.
Matt.
Skraby, who you got?
Okay, I know I need to go a little bit quicker today.
There's 5 correct answers remaining. They've each won 1.
Oh gosh.
Looking for states with championships.
States with championships. Why am I blanking on every single team in every single
I smell
sport?
trouble. Trouble.
Every single team in every single sport.
Skraby never
is
runs
just
into
left
trouble
my
until he
head.
gets the lead. I don't know why that's.
This is when he does his best
Yeah, this is
work.
when you do your best work.
I don't even know what states are anymore.
Tick, 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 tick. You got the buzzer over there, so you decide how much time you get.
Yeah, what the heck?
Illinois.
Man? This is
Illinois, that's a buzzer. No championships in Illinois
I know,
yet this
they're terrible
decade.
teams. What am I doing?
Sorry about that, Skraby. So we're 1 strike apiece. We're back on serve, as it were. Tony is up in a 5-5 deadlock, and he's got 5 correct answers to choose from. Champions in what state? Tony, who do you have?
Nevada.
Oh, he picked. I think he got the toughest one. That is correct. Nevada is home to the Las Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah.
They won the Stanley Cup in 2023.
I was like, Nevada doesn't have any.
Yes, they do. Tony's correct. He takes a 6-5 lead with 4 remaining.
No.
Skraby, you need champions in any of the 4 major sports, NCAA football or basketball. And there are 4 correct answers left this decade. You need to name the state in which these teams play.
It's getting tight.
It's getting tight. It's getting. What is that
tight,
song you
Mr.
taught me yesterday,
Skraby?
Skraby, by Nelly?
It's getting hot in here.
It's getting hot in here.
That's a
It's
good one.
getting hot in
Chris.
here.
That's a good one.
Oh, that was real good. Chris.
Oh man!
Oh my goodness,
I've
Skraby.
literally forgot every single state out there. For
You
some
sailed
reason.
right through the first 5 like this was a piece of cake for you. Now you're
Well,
getting
now
your,
I'm trying to think of like.
you're getting your comeuppance now.
Oh no!
All right. No.
Tick, 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 tick.
All right,
tick,
I'm
tick,
just gonna
tick,
have
tick,
to.
tick,
Just gonna throw one out there and hope you get it. Come on, Skraby. This is. I mean, these are
mean,
tough, but I don't think they're that impossible at this point.
Is there a district on there?
No.
Okay.
You-
No,
you
I'm
can't
not.
be
There's
asking
no
these
little
questions
funny
anyway. Let's go.
business things
Okay,
on
I'm
this
just
one.
gonna say New York.
New
Wrong.
York does not have
Wrong,
a
I knew it.
championship
I knew it.
this decade. Nothing for New York.
I am single-handedly giving this away.
It's great. Well, who else would give it away?
Your questions.
Skraby's got 2 strikes, and Tony with a 6-5
Skraby.
lead closing in.
I'm
If you can
feeling
get another
pretty
one
good
here.
right now,
I'm
Skraby.
not.
Skraby.
I'm
Feeling
not.
pretty
All right,
good.
Tony, you're up with the
How
6-5
about
lead. Who do you got?
Wisconsin.
Yeah, Tony's NBA
Who's from
knowledge is
Wisconsin?
helping here. The Milwaukee Bucks won in 2021. That is correct. Tony takes a 7-5 lead.
I hate this category.
There are 3. He hates the category. There are 3. You know, this is a tough one because naming states is a very difficult thing to do.
Well, naming
Oh.
states that because obviously not every state has a champion.
Right. Otherwise, it would be
North
kind.
Dakota.
It would be kind of a silly category if all 50 states were correct answers.
Right.
It would have made it easier.
For you, there's only 3 that will save you in this game now.
I'm trying to think.
3 states that are home to champions, either in the 4 major
Champions.
sports, NCAA football,
Wait.
or NCAA
Uh-oh.
basketball.
Did you help? Did you come up with one?
Did the light go on?
This could be wrong.
All right.
Oh, of
Wouldn't be
course.
surprising.
But did the Carolina Hurricanes of North Carolina win a Stanley Cup?
Is that what you want to guess?
Sure.
North Carolina for the final stay in the game is going to get you the final buzzer. You have struck out, and Tony Gwynn Jr.
This is for me. The booing's for me.
is the champion today. As Skraby races through the first 5 answers and then completely lays an egg the rest of the way. Wait till I tell you who the champions are, Skraby. You're going to really be upset.
I'm gonna say
Tony, do you know any of these last 3?
I think I got Kansas
Kansas
has
has won. Yes, Kansas basketball.
basketball.
They
When did
won
they
in
win?
2022.
The Ohio.
Ohio State University just won football this
I
year.
thought about Ohio like 100 times.
Yeah.
And there's one more in NCAA football. It's right next to Ohio.
You're the only 10 I see.
Michigan.
Oh,
Michigan won the NCAA
I'm so-
football in 2023.
That
Yeah,
is
that was one of your
bad.
all-time fumbles, right?
Yeah,
there,
that's
I think.
bad.
That was a
bad.
rough one for you.
Yeah,
Tony
that was
Tony
bad.
even gave you one with the
With the
matching
double
guess,
dip. He
which
did.
never happens in
That
this
is
game.
this is absolutely one of my worst showings in this game.
Well, we're still proud of you, Skraby.
Proud of me for losing.
Well, the good thing is you named 5 correct, and you named 3 of the 35 states that were not correct.
I was
So
like,
that's not
maybe
bad.
DC. Did the Caps win? No.
I thought you were going to guess Puerto Rico at the end there.
I was gonna guess North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
They would
So
all been wrong.
Tony's back on top. The Fantabulous Sports Game Show Championship is his. How about
Come on
you
back
home.
out there?
that.
Maybe you got yourself a Chris vs. the Fans Championship. That's next. 833-288-0973.
Padres.
What are we doing, guys?
I'm going to see the museum for the first time ever. It's going to be sweet. See my dad's plaque. See where Trevor's plaque is going to be. It's going to be pretty dope.
Chris,
I'm going to go to the Hall of Fame for the second time because I went earlier today, but I'm going in to see Tony go into the Hall of Fame. So all the way straight and back left.
Straight back left.
Straight on that back wall.
This one?
Yeah.
How you feeling, Tony?
I don't know how I'm feeling right now, honestly.
Excited?
I'm definitely excited. Hello. Eric, how you doing? Pretty good.
Just like I told you, next to the famous Barney Dreyfuss and Leslie Wilkinson, whoever they are.
That does look like them.
I know. It's a good shot. They don't do them all that great. That one's good. Really good.
I missed a year. 300. Must have been bad. Huh? I used to be. Not anymore, though.
Oh, it's so cool. What team did you play on?
I can give you a long list of them. Brewers, Padres, Dodgers, Phillies, Nationals.
What position did you play?
I played outfield. This was my dad. Oh, there's Dick Williams, Goose. I think he'd be pretty happy with his company over here or something.
What are you thinking of seeing it for the first time?
I'm thinking
I'm hot. I'm quite warm right now, but it's cool. I mean, it's what I thought it was going to be. I mean, who not too many people can say they have a dad that's enshrined in this place, so I think this is awesome.
What are we doing, guys?
I'm going to see the museum for the first time ever. It's going to be sweet. See my dad's plaque. See where Trevor's plaque is going to be. It's going to be pretty dope.
Chris,
I'm going to go to the Hall of Fame for the second time because I went earlier today, but I'm going in to see Tony go into the Hall of Fame. So all the way straight at the back left.
Straight back left.
Straight around that back wall.
This one?
Yeah.
How you feeling, Tony?
I don't know how I'm feeling right now, honestly.
Excited?
I'm definitely excited. Hello, Eric. How you doing? Pretty good.
Wow. Just like I told you, next to the famous Barney Dreyfuss and Leslie Wilkinson, whoever they are.
That does look like them.
I know. It's a good shot. They don't do them all that great. That one's good. Really good.
I missed a year. 300. Must have been bad. Huh? I used to be. Not anymore, though.
Oh, it's so cool. What team did you play on?
I can give you a long list of them. Brewers, Padres, Dodgers, Phillies, Nationals.
What position did you play?
I played outfield. This was my dad. Oh, there's Dick Williams, Goose. I think he'd be pretty happy with his company over here or something.
What are you thinking of seeing it for the first time?
I'm thinking
I'm hot. I'm quite warm right now, but it's cool. I mean, it's what I thought it was going to be. I mean, who not too many people can say they have a dad that's enshrined in this place, so I think this is awesome.
What are we doing, guys?
I'm going to see the museum for the first time ever. It's going to be sweet. See my dad's plaque. See where Trevor's plaque is going to be. It's going to be pretty dope.
Chris,
I'm going to go to the Hall of Fame for the second time because I went earlier today, but I'm going in to see Tony go into the Hall of Fame. So all the way straight at the back left.
Straight back left.
Straight around that back wall.
This one?
Yeah.
How you feeling, Tony?
I don't know how I'm feeling right now, honestly.
Excited?
I'm definitely excited. Hello, Eric. How you doing? Pretty good.
Just like I told you, next to the famous Barney Dreyfuss and Leslie Wilkinson, whoever they are.
That does look like them.
I know. It's a good shot. They don't do them all that great. That one's good. Really good.
I missed a year. 300. Must have been bad. Huh? I used to be. Not anymore, though.
Oh, it's so cool. What team did you play on?
I don't know if I can even talk to you after that performance. My goodness.
Why don't you fix your camera so that people
can see me,
see the
be
disappointment
disgusted
in
with
your
you?
face.
Ohio State, last year's national champs. Like, what'd you say? You thought about Ohio. Well, why didn't you answer?
Well,
Ohio?
I thought Bengals didn't win the Super Bowl. I thought Reds have definitely not won.
Reds were no good. Yeah.
The Cavs, no.
So
and then I just completely forgot about Ohio State.
Never got to Ohio State.
Just
Okay.
completely forgot.
Tony's back on top. He's off celebrating the title and getting ready for tonight's broadcast. More with Tony, though, coming up on our Big Five at the bottom of the hour. Quick couple of notes before we get to Chris versus the fans. First of all, Padres, Rockies. No. Take two. Padres, Royals. We have tickets to give away to the game. It's on Sunday, June 22nd. So a couple of weekends from now, you can go see the Padres-Rockies game. The tickets we're going to be giving away are not for the theme aspect of it.
They're not.
N-O-T, because there's a theme that weekend. It's all Star Wars weekend, etc.
Yep.
Doesn't mean you can't go to the game. You're going to get tickets. You get to go to the game. You just don't get the theme part of it with these tickets. Okay.
Correct.
Understand that.
Correct.
Nevertheless, free tickets, Padres, Royals. We'll tell you how you can win those later on this hour. And you know me, I'll probably come up with some crazy trivia question.
Well, yesterday
you'll have to answer.
Sometimes Chris's trivia questions, I think, are a little too hard. Yesterday's was good, though, because we got the same wrong answer 9 times before we got the right answer, which tells me that you were on to something, Chris.
All right, we'll see what we come up with later today. Chance for you to win those tickets. Stick around for that. Also, Skraby sends out podcasts of the program.
I do.
And today, he's already sent one out that includes our interview with Alden Gonzalez and his really, interesting and informative take on the Padres and the Dodgers, for that matter. If you missed that interview, you can hear it whenever you like. Just search Gwynn and Chris, wherever you find your podcasts, or 97.3 The Fan, whatever it is. You can listen to this show and segments of it whenever you like. Skraby does a good job of that.
Thank you.
We don't promote it enough, but I want to remind everybody, if you miss parts of the show or you're just, a fan of the show and can't listen that day, you can always download later.
Yes.
Podcast.
Yes.
So Skraby has that all available for you out there.
Yes.
All right. Let's go now to a round of Chris versus the fans.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right. I'm going to dig in and read the prize.
You may.
If you win, you will be qualified for a chance to win our grand prize, a spa and pool getaway at Resorts World Las Vegas, home of the largest elevated pool complex on the Strip. You will receive a 2-night stay at Resorts World Las Vegas, dine poolside at one of the 5 unique pool experiences, and experience the ultimate in relaxation and wellness at Awana Spa, one of the largest co-ed spa facilities in Las Vegas. To book your summer stay, please visit rwlasvegas.com. The rules: you have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get the question wrong and Chris gets it right, you're eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question, or you win. If you're a first-time player, let us know before you get into it, and you'll get that question for free today. And Chris's Fantabulous Sports Game Show was brought to you by Spiros. If you love Mediterranean food, try Spiros for authentic Mediterranean cuisine in Coronado or La Jolla. For dining or takeout options, visit spiroscuisine.com. All right. let's go to our first contestant, Hector. Hello, Hector.
Good afternoon, guys.
How are you?
Hector?
You ready
Good
to
luck
go?
to you.
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. What is the nickname for Filipino boxer Manny Pacquiao?
That's Manny Pac-Man.
Nice job. Good job, Hector. I don't know if I was on the other side of the phone if I would have known that, Chris.
I did not know that. It was asked last week. Again, this is not your fault. Frank put a lot of questions in. He did not.
Can we crush Frank next time we see him for this? Because
Go
I
right ahead.
specifically gave him instructions to
eliminate the questions he used. Yeah, that's okay. Nothing wrong with you getting that, Hector.
No, Hector's
well done
fine.
by
This is
you.
a Frank thing.
No, Hector's good. He's
All right.
on. He's on the
Question
he's on the beam.
Number 2.
But I agree with you. I did not know that his nickname was that. I didn't know.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
I had
anyway.
no idea.
The AUSL is the new professional league for softball. What does AUSL stand for?
AU.
AUSL.
American Softball. What was the abbreviation again?
Okay.
Yeah, he's all right. Give him another chance.
Oh,
He
you want
didn't-
to? Oh, okay.
Yeah, tell him the initials again.
AUSL. Apple Uniform Sierra Lima.
Whatever. Yeah, AUSL.
I don't know. I'll pass. I'll pass it to.
Okay, that's smart. That's smart because I don't know that Chris knows this.
Hector on the pass. AUSL. Athletes Unlimited Softball League, and it's a total guess. Oh my God!
Sorry, Hector. I didn't.
And you know
I didn't
what's
think you were going to
interesting?
get that.
I had no clue.
How did
And
you know Athletes Unlimited?
because I was going to guess American right up until the second it was my turn to answer. And then somehow Athletes Unlimited jumped into my head. I don't know why.
I think it's probably because through osmosis because it's been on TV a lot lately.
They've been promoting it, but that I never saw it. It just nothing went with American.
But you got it right.
I got it right. Sorry, Hector. That was unlucky for you.
Let's go to Brian. Hello, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
This is me?
Yes.
Yep. Good to have you.
How are
sir.
you?
This is actually Chris. That's just my dad's name.
Okay, let me
all right.
change it to Chris in
We
here.
got you, Chris.
All right, Chris.
Good for you. Always smart to change your name to Chris when you're playing this game.
Ready to go?
First time player.
First time player.
Oh!
Chris
Can I
versus
ask a question
Chris.
about the Fantabulous game show?
Sure.
Was it the current decade or just the past 10 years?
No, this decade only.
This current
Yes,
decade,
it started
yes.
in 2020. Yeah,
Because I was thinking UNC Tar Heels won in.
right. Yes.
Oh, then I would have gotten it right because North
you would
Carolina,
have,
baby.
But that wasn't the rules today. Scrape, good try, and thanks for your help.
No,
Now,
I would have lost
Chris,
either way.
do not do anything to help him because that's going to get you on my bad side.
All right.
No worries.
Here we go. Question number 2.
Yep.
What team drafted the pitcher Aaron Nola?
Aaron Nola.
Drafted?
Yeah.
Pitches for the Phillies. We know that. I don't know if this is a trick question. It is a number 2 question. So
Let's go Toronto.
goes with Toronto.
Stay there.
Yeah, Phillies is too easy. So I'm not thinking it's Phillies. Unfortunately, I don't know. For me, good fortune for Chris. So I got to guess somebody. Who drafted Aaron Nola? He's from Louisiana.
Why don't we ask
I know there's Austin Nola?
No, why don't we ask Austin
Adams?
Adams,
Yeah.
yes.
Who drafted your brother? I know he's from Louisiana.
What did you say?
Yeah, but he was not happy with me. I'll say the closest team to the Louisiana, the Rangers. It makes no sense.
My goodness, you way overthought this.
No.
It was the Phillies.
Oh, well, we both oversaw it. Good for you, Chris.
Yes, Chris, you are still
it was
there.
the Phillies.
Stay right there.
Wow, kind of a tricky. You tricked
A
us.
little trick. Little
Tricked
tricky
us.
trick.
Yeah.
Here we
you
go. Question number 3. All right, last night's game. Which Dodger hitter hit the double that drove in Shohei Otani in the first inning last night?
First inning double. Knocked
Well,
in the first
there,
run
I
of
hope
the
I get
game.
this right.
Let's hope.
Freddie Pregame.
He's got
Nice
it.
job.
Is that a win?
That is a win.
Yeah, okay.
Stay there,
done,
Chris.
Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman's having a year. My
He really
goodness.
is. He had 3 hits last
Oh,
night.
he's hitting 350 something and hitting line drives all over the place.
I
will say
want to
this, too.
hate him, but I can't.
You can't. Freddie Freeman is too good of a guy. He's on the wrong team. You know, like Mookie Betts, another good guy. They just both play for the wrong team. Not their fault necessarily.
Oh, interesting. I'm seeing on the chat that Aaron Nola was originally drafted by Toronto in 2011, I guess. I didn't see that on his Wikipedia, even though Chris said Toronto.
No, I said Texas.
No, I know. The Chris who won said
Oh, he
Toronto.
did?
Yes, he did.
Well, here's where you ran into trouble, and the chat is, always smarter than you, is that, yeah, he was drafted out of high school by Toronto.
I guess, yeah.
You had him
by the Blue
drafted out of
Jays.
college by the Phillies.
Okay, so I need to.
Anyway,
I need
here's
to
the bottom
clarify
line.
that
Here's the
next time.
bottom line. Chris is right in more ways than one. He's a deserving champion today.
Thank you, James, for that information. I missed that, but I need to clarify next time.
Never mind. We're used to your Chris versus the fans.
Okay.
Mistakes.
Okay.
Yeah, good on you, Chris. First time player and a winner.
First
Right
time
out of the
player.
gate. I like it. Stay on the line. Skraby will I was going to say he'll get to you here shortly, but sometimes you forget about these guys for like a half an hour.
I
and they
won't
sit
do
on
that this
hold.
time. I won't do that.
All right, let's
this time.
get to some traffic. We'll get you caught up. There are a couple of little stories here and there in the sports world, not anything major.
Some potpourri.
Little potpourri coming up. We've got an NFL running back that just found a new home. We have an NCAA football coach who is not feeling well. And it's a big name, and we got to pass that along to you. And a couple of other items, so stick around as we continue.
From the
WNBA as we come back to the Gwynn and Chris program. We love the WNBA. I think on this show as much as any. After all, I do women's basketball games. Appreciate these athletes. I'm really happy to see that sport taking off the way it has. But they've been without their two biggest stars. Caitlin Clark not playing, missing her 5th consecutive game tonight.
Do you know what injury she's got going on? I think it's a
I saw it up
hamstring or
there
something
earlier, and I can't remember. But better news: Paige Beckers, who's missed like 2 or 3 games herself, is due back tomorrow. So
left quad strain for
quad
Caitlin
strain.
Clark.
Man, come on. Here's the thing that I'm not going to ever win this argument.
I'm with you though,
and I shouldn't win this argument, but. Every time an athlete doesn't run hard, what do they say now? Well, don't want to strain a hamstring. Here's my comeback to that. Stretch your hamstring. You are a professional athlete. You have access to doctors, nurses, trainers, equipment, stretching exercise, everything known to the human mind. Don't go out there unless your hamstring is ready. I understand it can still get strained, but the odds are not, shouldn't be happening. I'm not a pro athlete, nor is Skraby.
No.
Nor are any of you or most of you.
I mean, there might be one or two.
Right, it might be somebody driving along.
Joe Musgrove is driving. He's like,
Joe,
what the heck?
Yeah, Joe, you are. But no, I mean, look, stop straining your hamstrings. I don't strain mine. Anyway,
that's not true. You did it in softball last year,
and then I played the next game.
Did you?
Yes, that's me.
Well, then you can go home and not have to play for another week.
I know. I'm not. This is a losing argument, but you feel some of my same stress.
I do.
Same frustration with this.
I absolutely do. I think it's
like Caitlin Clark is a professional. What else does she have to do, athlete, other than keep her legs stretched and ready?
Maybe it's like load management.
I'm sure. It's 4 games into the season. She's already out.
Okay, fine.
And the WNBA needs her back. A couple of other notes in a potpourri segment. NFL running back with a new home. That running back starred on my fantasy team last year, Skrabe. You recall. He had a good year. His name is J.K. Dobbins. He's now playing for the Denver Broncos. Broncos get him for 1 year, $2.5 million or $2.75 million. It seems kind of cheap to me.
Yeah, running backs don't make any money anymore.
All right. Chargers had Dobbins last year. Did well. Broncos have a lot of guys, though, including Javonte Williams and Jaleel McLaughlin, and didn't they draft somebody?
Remember when Philip Lindsay was a thing?
Well, yeah, they come and go, these running backs.
Like real quick.
Short shelf
maybe
life.
2 years he was a
maximum.
Thing.
Yeah, 2 years you get. Anyway, Dobbins goes to the Broncos. And then I told you there's an college football coach who's not feeling well. We don't know what's wrong with Deion Sanders. Apparently he's been out, not at the office recently. He's been at his estate in Texas dealing with an unspecified health issue. Summer football camp began last week without him. Deion's eldest son is also Deion. It's not one of the football players, but his eldest son, Deion,
What? I didn't.
Junior.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. But his eldest son, Deion Jr., said, quote, and this sounds like a Deion, quote, he'll tell y'all soon enough what he's going through and what he went through. When we get back to Boulder, I don't know. I'm waiting till my dad leaves. When he leaves, then I'll go. Anyway, Sanders is 57. He has had some health issues.
Yeah.
He lost his toes.
They had to amputate.
Amputated toes, blood clots. He had another procedure to relieve clots in both his legs. You know, Deion Sanders has not had 100% good health. And I also want to send out one thing. This is a potpourri segment, so I can do this. And we had Alden Gonzalez on her. He's from ESPN. One of the guys that I looked up to a lot as a sports writer went on to fame more. You know him as a guy that was on that Around the Horn show all the time, okay? So this is where you probably know the name from, but I know him as a great sports writer.
What
started
city?
in San Diego,
Oh.
then wrote for the LA Times.
Oh, yes.
You hated this guy at the LA Times because he used to write a lot of negative stuff about San Diego.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, this guy's a terrific guy. His name is Bill Plaschke, and he recently announced that he's been diagnosed with Parkinson's. So I wish him the best and then some. Bill Plaschke, whatever you think about, his opinions, maybe you didn't agree. Let me tell you something. He can write his ass off. That guy is a great writer. And Bill Plaschke, he started in Seattle before he came here many, many years ago. Obviously, Parkinson's is not a horrible sentence always, but I hope for the best for Bill Plaschke in hearing that.
Yeah.
And if you happen to know Bill or of Bill or through people through Bill, try to get a message through. Send him the best on that.
Yeah, it's sad.
All right. Let's see.
Oh, I have one other thing, apparently,
Okay.
from the chat.
Mhm.
It's a update on Jason Hayward. I was looking for it, and then I put my phone down.
Okay.
I need to go to Annie Halbrun's Twitter, I was told.
And he's got a Jason Hayward update, all right?
Jason Hayward will start a rehab assignment in El Paso on Friday, Schultz said.
My reaction to that is not a moment too soon. I don't know. Jason Hayward's obviously not going to come in and save the day.
Do you think,
but
I know this is a really hard prediction and thing to answer, but do you think if Jason Hayward's in left field last night, that ball's caught?
Look, anybody could have caught that ball. Anybody could have missed that ball, right? It was a line drive. Those are hard to judge. I'm not sticking up for him. I guarantee you Brandon Lockridge feels like he cost the Padres the game.
Took it home with him for sure.
I would think. He misjudged that ball, and that's as simple as that. But
he's really good. He's a really
good defensive player. So this was, look, Manny made an error. Manny didn't catch a pop-up. Doesn't change the fact that Manny's incredible. I did notice this though. Manny's got 12 errors now.
They reversed one, so now he's back to 11.
Okay, but
I saw that this morning.
That's a lot of errors for Manny. I'd still give him the Gold Glove by 10 miles.
See, I don't think
because he's so good, but I know that he's not going to get it because people are going to say, "Well, I made too many errors."
I can't remember who said it on this show, but I think it was you. You said that when Manny Machado's not at third base anymore, everybody's going to realize how great Manny Machado was because
it was either me or Tony. But
it's true. I mean, you think about it. You a ball's hit the third, you don't even think about it. It's just an automatic
Take
out.
it for granted that he's going to make an incredible play every time.
But you are right. Defensively, errors have been a problem for him this year.
He's made a few. He made an unbelievable stab of that line one hopper last night, made the hard part, and then bounced the throw. Like, that's the easy part.
Can we talk about Morihone throwing the ball into the ground?
Come on. Adrian. You know why he did that?
Because he was too nonchalant.
Thank you. He Cadillac'd it. Stop Cadillacing it,
He
people.
was like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm so cool. I stabbed that ground ball and I got Shohei Otani out. And look at me. Oops. Please don't look at me because now I look like an idiot. I threw the ball down the first baseline.
Hey, he struck out Freddie Freeman next batter, which
he got out of the inning, so there was no harm done.
But he did throw that ball to the ground.
Oh my God!
Luis Arraez was like, "Dude, I'm right here."
Yeah, it's but it was you hit it, Skraby. It was a Cadillac thing. Stop it!
I saw it immediately because when he did it, I felt relief, and then I thought, "Oh, this is gonna go bad for some reason. I don't know." And then it did.
You forget as a pitcher when you're on that mound. Right, it's got the drop off.
Yeah.
So when you step,
you fall.
You fall forward. Guess where the ball goes? Right down into the ground.
Yeah.
That's why you see pitchers when they get a comebacker. What do? They run a little bit over and then throw it so they get on flat ground. Morihone was way too cool to do that. Only then he wasn't very cool, was he?
Do you ever watch the 3D representation of the game on MLB.com?
Oh, God.
I'm going to have to show you this because after he threw that ball, he turned around and he was just like, oh, what did I just do?
Yeah.
The 3D wireframe guy was hilarious because I'll show you. You could watch an entire play in 3D from any part in the park.
You have to show me. I hope that he doesn't make that mistake again. It's like the guy that's riding along on his bike, and he goes, look at me, and does a wheelie, and then goes right into a wall. You're like, yeah, look at you. Great move.
Now I'm looking at you on the ground, bro.
Darn right. All right. Break time, then Big Five time coming up.
Gwynn and Chris.
4:35 is the time. Big Five time. Toners tonight at long last. They finally met last night. It was almost worth the wait. I say almost because as good of a game as it was, to me, it still didn't make up for the fact that we haven't seen the teams play yet.
I'm kind of over it at this point.
You're done complaining about it, you mean?
Yeah, because nothing's going to happen.
Well, I think, baseball has to look at this, and, I hope eventually, although Alden Gonzalez said there's not a whole lot of support for anything
which
about,
surprises me.
Yeah. Because I think, division play is just more important than playing every team in interleague. I don't think you have to. You can play a few games in interleague every year. That's good. What's the appetite? But I don't need to see.
So they play 13 times now.
13 instead of 19.
See, would 6 games, I mean, obviously it would change something, but would 3 games change it for you? What if they gave 3 games back?
Well, here's why I think it would. Because it would add a time in the year when they're playing each other. Like, right? The Padres right now and the Dodgers are playing 7 games here this week and next week. And then they play the rest of their games in August. And that's it. I think
they have to play it.
They should be meeting 3 or 4 times during the year.
They have to at least meet near the end of the season.
And they should for sure be playing in September.
They're not,
playing in September.
See, that's what I don't like, because then you can't control your own destiny.
Well, you can control it this week, I guess.
Yeah,
that's what the argument would be. But anyway, they're finally playing each other, and last night was one heck of a game. Hopefully tonight we get the same game but a different result.
Yes.
All right, let's check traffic. A little more on last night and our Big Five.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Islands Restaurants. Well, guys, if we're going to have a problem on the coastline, I guess it should be today instead of tomorrow, which is opening day at the fair. All right, southbound 5 past La Costa. Right lane still blocked with emergency crews for this collision. And now hit and run crash on northbound 5, right past Manchester. Couple cars involved. They're over to the right shoulder. Also a collision on the Miramar Road on-ramp to northbound 15. Further north on the 15, just past Felicita, getting a stalled vehicle pushed over to the right shoulder. Ready for a delicious escape? The new Islands Restaurant's $10 protein bowls are your ticket, packed with over 40 grams of protein and stacked with fresh ingredients. They're only here for a limited time, so enjoy one today. Visit islandsrestaurants.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, so this hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Staples. So as we know, we've been talking about it, the Padres fell to the Dodgers last night in a pretty raucous environment. Maybe some may say playoff-type environment. Will Smith,
number 5,
the catcher of the Dodgers, was interviewed after the game last night, and he was asked about the atmosphere, and he responded with this.
From last October, first 3 innings, like the way he was back and forth, was just no, it felt like another game in June.
What were the he goes this is really funny to me. Tony's got a stone face right now because I'm going to be asking him first. Was this just another game in June, Tony?
I mean, technically, it was. Yeah, it was just another game in June. But obviously, it was. It had on the schedule. It is in fact a game in June.
Yes.
So he's not wrong in that. And in the same way, I might add that I heard the Padres manager kind of not make a stink about the series before the game, kind of in that same lane. But given the fact that that game had unfolded the way it did, I would have expected him to at least acknowledge that Yeah, no. Although it was a regular game, it had some extra oomph to it because clearly it did. Both of those teams came into that game offensively anemic, and you just threw all that out the window within the first 3 innings of that game. There was already 5-6 runs thrown up on each side. So I'm not mad at that comment. I mean, as a baseball player, as an actual player on the field, you kind of have to look at it that way so that you can do your job efficiently. I get that it's not necessarily what we want to hear after a good game like that, a well-played baseball game that had excitement. We want to hear a player kind of at least acknowledge it. He just completely was like, "Nah, just another game in June," which is the annoying part.
That's the annoying. And then he goes,
I didn't hear all of the sniffling that you're doing right now, but
after looking at the camera, Chris, was this just another game in June?
Technically, my wedding day was just another day. It really was. It was on the calendar, October 22nd, just another day. So I was accurate if I said that. But no, it wasn't just like any other day, right? Look, Will Smith is a buzzkill. This is all he is. And there's nothing wrong with, looking at the guy who's asking you a question and understanding where the question is coming from and not making the guy feel about 2 inches tall by snapping off an answer like that. Will Smith has not impressed me in any way, shape, or form with a lot of the things he said. I don't hear everything he says. But yeah, look, how about promoting your game? How about promoting the sport you play in? Talking a little bit about, the enthusiasm, the electricity in the crowd. Even Will Smith isn't myopic enough to think that the buzz in the crowd was similar to a Tuesday night game at home against, Washington. It just felt different. That's all he had to do was say so. And, whereas Tony is correct, this answer was weak. I'm not a fan of it.
Do you think that Will Smith is doing this to get the reaction that we had? I'm not going to put Tony in there.
I don't want to give him enough credit. No, I don't.
He's not. He doesn't care about us. Like, why? He could care less what we think about his comments.
Right.
Just like he could care less what we thought when he said Profar was what was the word? Irrelevant, right? Like,
yeah, but
it's not his job to in the grand scheme of things. I hear what Chris is saying because there is something to recognize, even if you aren't wanting to play, right? But when a reporter asks you a question like that, I think he's intelligent enough to know what he's getting. I think, he chose to go that route because that's the route most of these guys take. Everybody doesn't have to be the promoter, right? You got enough guys who are going to do that. But it is kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's disingenuous to say that it's just another game when, come on, man, we know every time these teams get together, at least in the last 3 or 4 years, there's some fireworks, and it's okay for that. But I understand why he's going about it that way.
I do too, but I want one last word on this one if I'm a media person. One of these days, Will Smith is going to hit 4 homers in a game, or he's going to get to 3,000 hits.
And I hope he's deadpan.
My point is, I'm not going to run over for him to his reaction when he's at his locker looking for media to come over, because he's already dissed me the way he does. And that's just going to be in the back of my mind.
If you're that reporter, though, aren't you in your own feelings and you're letting it become a personal thing?
Well, yes and no, because I'll just go ask somebody else what they think about Will Smith's performance.
What do you think about Will's 4-homer day over there?
Yeah, I don't care.
I don't know. Go talk to him. No, I don't talk to him anymore.
Well, Steve Carlton famously, when a Hall of Fame pitcher, he refused absolutely 1,000%, never talked to the media ever. And that was fine, but he was a Hall of Fame pitcher. He had some incredible performances. Writers just ended up talking to Tim McCarver, who was the catcher.
How did you feel about Steve Carlton, though?
It's fine. It's okay.
Why is it okay for him, but not okay for Rory McIlroy?
It's okay.
He brought Rory in.
All right, we better go.
Oh, now he wants to move forward.
Well, we only have so much time to.
We have so much time.
All right, fine. We'll just put the rest of the Big Five on hold, and I will tell you how many ways Rory McIlroy is wrong.
I never get to turn the tables on you, and I finally got to at least once.
Number 4.
Now, California high school sprinter was stripped of their state title. Did you guys hear about this?
This is weak sauce.
After an unsportsmanlike celebration with a fire extinguisher. Here is KSBW News with more on this.
Greatest moment of 16-year-old Clara Adams' young career taken away from her because of a celebration. After winning the 400-meter event at the CIF State Championships with a time of 53.24 seconds, her dream of winning a state title went up in flames after celebrating using a fire extinguisher.
So she goes over to the stands. She gets the fire extinguisher from her dad. She puts out her shoes, and then they stripped her state title after an unsportsmanlike celebration. So she said after she was robbed, saying she was just having fun with the celebration, quote, "I was having fun. I'd never won something like that before, and they took it away from me. I didn't do anything wrong." She added also, "I worked really hard for it, and they took it from me, and I just don't know what to do," end quote. Chris, you're up first. Is this unsportsmanlike?
What she did?
Yes.
It would have been unsportsmanlike if she grabbed the fire extinguisher and, fired it off in the face of some of her competitors and tried to rub it in that way. But putting the flame out of her own feet is pretty creative, I must say.
It's a Maurice Green thing.
Well, I don't know where it came from, but, look, here's what I would do. If I was, because there's got to be somebody above the person who made this decision. So whoever that person is, fire the person who made this decision so that they understand how she now feels, because this is absurd.
Okay. Tony, is this unsportsmanlike?
No. She was off in her own little corner over there, spraying her own feet.
Yeah.
And then it was like 2 seconds. It was literally wasn't like she was down there like spraying it and going across the field, dancing in front of the girls that she ran past. I just think this is over. This is an overreach right here. Fine, you want to pat her on her head. Hey, don't do that. We're not going to do that. Fine. But you're going to strip her of her title. She literally, by the way, no one was really close either.
No.
She roasted those girls in that 400. So this is just another overcorrection deal. I personally didn't have an issue with it, but if you are having an issue with it, fine. You want to say, hey, let's knock it off. We're not going to do that. Fine, but to strip her of the whole title is ridiculous.
90% of the time when parents get involved in things that kids are doing, parents screw it up.
I believe it was CIF officials.
I understand, but
they are parents at some point. Yeah,
yes,
adults screw it up.
Yes,
okay.
just stay out of our lane.
I almost half expect these days kids to actually light their shoes on fire.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be more surprised if somebody just
and...
didn't celebrate at this point. But that's stupid.
I'll keep an eye on that and see what happens.
That'll get overturned. I believe a cooler, smarter head somewhere will prevail.
Okay.
Number 3.
The A's were in Anaheim playing the Angels last night, and A's center fielder, oh my gosh, and I didn't write his name. I wrote A's center fielder.
Denzel Clark.
Thank you. I wrote it, left a space for his name for me to put it in there, but never did.
Tony saved
Denzel
you.
Clark, who made a great catch over the weekend at home in Sacramento, where he just basically ran into the wall.
I thought he broke his clavicle.
I didn't know what happened. I thought he was dead. He just hit the wall so hard. Still made the catch. Some think that last night's catch, they're calling him Spider-Man, by the way, but he climbed up on the wall, he robbed a home run, and some think that catch should be deemed illegal because he used the wall to boost himself.
Who said this?
Some people think.
Some
Lord.
CIF track official in California thought that this was an illegal play.
No, I saw this around Twitter this morning, and some say this is the catch of the year.
Some people read one idiot on Twitter said that he shouldn't be allowed to boost himself on the wall.
Tony, should this be deemed illegal, or is this the catch of the year?
I wouldn't even dignify him with a response.
Tony, is that a loss for words?
Yeah, well, he doesn't know what to say to you.
I am honestly surprised that someone had to take of you shouldn't be allowed to climb the
Unbelievable.
wall, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesse just heard that piece of it and turned it, snapped his head at me. Yeah, no, this I don't know who said that. I assume they don't watch a lot of or any baseball at all. No, that was a top 5 play of like all time. Like
Really?
that's how to be able to run full speed and get you, and the timing of that all be what it was. That's pretty remarkable.
All right, Chris, what say you?
I say that the greatest catch I've ever seen, the one that I go to when I think about such things, is Jim Edmonds running straight toward the center field fence with his back to home plate in Kansas City and diving as far as he could and catching that one. This one will now be another one I think about. That's how good it was.
Right.
I will not even for a half second think about him climbing the wall, which every outfielder in the history of the game has done if they're capable of doing it.
Okay.
It's a great play.
Okay.
Number 2.
I'm just going to move forward. With college football,
What, you're going to argue it?
No, maybe no. With college football,
We're going to have to address this at some point.
No. It was an incredible catch. I'm just trying to cause
Chris,
a little bit of controversy.
you're looking at Skraby. You could tell that he really wants to.
Yeah, he does. He's itching.
We don't have time.
He thinks he has an argument here. I almost have got to hear it.
No. There's no argument. It was a great catch. Everybody can do the same thing. They just can't.
We'll discuss off air.
Okay,
Don't worry, buddy.
With college football just on the horizon, CBS Sports put together a list of the top 25 most dynamic players in the last 25 years of college football. Many recognizable names are on the list, but the number one most dynamic player of the last 25 years, according to CBS Sports, Reggie Bush. He was named number 1, and then Cam Newton and Johnny Manziel in that order. So, Chris, is Reggie Bush the most dynamic player of the last 25 years of college football?
I know we are coming up short, so I'll give you as short as answer as I can. I'm very impressed with what I saw from Reggie Bush. I think he's an excellent choice, but whoever put this list together lost me by getting Johnny Manziel anywhere on the list.
He's a Heisman winner, right? As a freshman?
I don't care what he won.
I don't give a... He almost said it.
I don't. Johnny Manziel doesn't matter to me what he did. Reggie Bush is a deserving number 1, but after that, the list to me leaves a little to be desired.
There's some real fun ones on there, like Pat White. Remember him?
Pat White out of West Virginia.
Yeah.
No, Reggie's a good choice, though. He's inspired.
Tony, is Reggie Bush the most dynamic player of the last 25 years in college football?
I think so. I mean, and that's from like the time he was a freshman through his junior year. He was putting up those type of plays. It just became more of it as he got more time there. So yeah, I'd say Reggie Bush was the most dynamic in 25 years.
Number 1.
Love watching him play
Last
college football.
25 years.
Amazing.
Yeah,
All right.
especially when he pushed Matt Leinart into the end zone and changed football forever. Understand?
That was one of my favorite things.
Yes, I know as a USC fan you love that, but I understand that the tush push would not exist if it weren't for that play many years ago, because it used to be illegal to push your guy from behind like that.
Still should be. Number 1 is going to be the Titan Submersible Netflix documentary comes out tomorrow, I believe, and I'm going to be watching it as soon as it comes out. My question to you guys, I know that you guys don't want to go see the Titanic in a submersible, but if someone paid you, how much money would it cost them to get you in that submarine to go see the Titanic? Tony.
You're asking Tony, who won't even dip his toe in the ocean?
Won't be. I tell you what, the money would really matter, and I wouldn't be the first. There'd have to have been a successful couple of missions.
I mean, it's still scary.
Yeah, no, it is. But as long as I see some people come back like consistently, then yeah, we could talk.
You don't want to get in the
rickety. The money would have to be it would have to be crazy.
Like,
for me to get in something to go that deep.
$1 million.
Not even close.
He laughs at it.
$1 million is not getting the job done.
$5 million.
No,
he scoffed. He goes,
No,
Chris,
I don't think there's any amount of money you can pay me to go down toward the Titanic and on your way see those people frozen in that air machine.
No, they've
disintegrated.
Yes, they're not. They're not a body anymore.
Even better. I don't think I would want to do this. I have no desire
None.
No money. Show me the photos. I'm good. I'm sure it's down
Yeah,
there.
you know what?
I don't really need to see it.
I'm going back. Yeah, me and Chris, there's not enough money in the world you could pay me to go down that deep. There's barely enough money you can get me to go into the ocean.
That's why I said, yeah, right. You got to at least get a Benjamin out to get Tony to go
Benjamin.
Get your. If you throw your frisbee in the surf, you better get $100 bill if you want Tony to go get it.
No, he'll go, ha! You go get it, sir.
He might.
I don't know. It'd be so creepy to go down there.
Well, what's the deal here? Have they come up with something new that can actually?
No.
Oh,
we're just
then even worse. Yeah. No, way worse.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Apparently, this guy was on a suicide mission basically from the beginning. So
this is coming out on Netflix, huh?
Yeah, tomorrow.
I have to watch it.
So, all right, that's it for the Big Five. We'll get you set for Game 2 between the Padres and Dodgers when we get back on 97.3 The Fan. Hey, it's Skraby here, and you know many things about daily life annoys me. I finally found an outlet for all that annoyance. It's called The Daily Gripe, and I do it during the Skraby Show, weekdays at 6 p.m. on 97.3 The Fan.
A critical battle continues across San Diego County, the digital divide. Tony Gwynn Jr. here for Computer to Kids. The gap between those with access to technology and those without still leaves too many families behind.
And now, the challenger, representing the San Diego Padres, number 20, Kyle Higashioka. He ends the round with 7 home runs, and he has earned a trip to the semifinal matchup. Now the challenger in this semifinal matchup, number 20, Kyle Higashioka. No doubt about that one. That one carried on to Lansdowne. That one is gone. He now has bonus time. Just 1 minute remaining. No question about that one. And that's it up to put up in the championship matchup. And that ends the round. Finishes. Let's see what he can do. And now, the challenger in this championship round, Kyle Higashioka. That one carried out to Lansdowne. That one is gone. And he's earned 30 seconds of bonus time. Just 1 minute remaining. That draw off the right pole. There's a home run. now, the challenger, representing the San Diego Padres, number 20, Kyle Higashioka.
Happy hour time as we head back in here with you, Gwynn and Chris. Hope you enjoyed today's Big Five. Skraby trying to get us to go down and investigate the Titanic. I see you trying to take over the show. Send me and Tony on some death mission down there.
I would pay
see that.
to see Tony get into a submarine.
Not going to happen. Tony, honestly, I wasn't joking. He's back getting ready for the game.
Yes,
but I'm not joking. Tony barely will dip his toe in the ocean. So
I mean,
he's
I'm
certainly not going to get in a submarine, and head down to the what is it, 1,000 leagues under the sea, Jules Verne.
No, it's like 12,000 feet.
Yeah, it's way down there.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, like I said, I'm sure the Titanic's down there. You don't really, I don't need to go down there to be convinced. I trust them.
Do you know that it's dissolving and it will be gone in like 50 to 75 years?
Nah, that soon?
Yeah. No, it's been there since 1912.
I'm aware.
I
was in Halifax last year at the Titanic Museum.
Oh, that's right.
And people don't know, but when the Titanic went down, it was on its way, right, to the States, okay? The survivors were all taken to New York. The people who survived the sinking of the Titanic, those that were rescued, were taken to New York.
Yeah, Rose was taken to New York.
Rose, yes, in the movie got to New York. The people that did not survive, those bodies that were recovered, were all taken to Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada.
And they have
a huge museum there to obviously pay tribute to all of those folks who perished. And there's quite a bit of Titanic information if you're ever happen to be in Halifax.
Which I would go
last year.
I would go just for the Titanic.
You would like it.
I don't know why I'm so fascinated by the Titanic.
You would
I don't
like
know
it.
why.
Did you know this is the quickest thing I remember from my one Titanic trivia? Because I asked the guy. There was a museum, a curator type person who was there answering questions the day we were there.
Yeah.
So I said, why did they sink? How did they miss
iceberg?
I understand, but no, that wasn't the question. My question was, how did they miss the iceberg? Like, how did they not see it? Was it a mechanical failure? Did somebody fall asleep on the job? And they said the guy's answer was very simple, that they obviously didn't have, they had some technology to know that something was out there, but they did not know the scope of how big it was.
Yeah.
And by the time their machinery picked it up, they did not have time to get around it. The other part of it that is not told often is that it was one of the very few nights with no moon.
So
there was
very
absolutely no light at all,
Oof.
which contributed to them not being able to see the iceberg until it was too late.
Ugh. I hate the ocean, but I would go see the Titanic. You couldn't get me on the Titanic, though.
Well, I won't go see the Titanic now. As I said, I'm sure it's down there. I'll let somebody else confirm it for me.
12,500 feet.
Yeah, 5:05 is the time. Gwynn and
Chris, I'm a big talker, Chris. I don't think I would actually do it.
I don't either.
I don't actually think I
Dodgers
could do it.
8, Padres 7 was the score last night. What will we get tonight? I just hope we get as good of a game tonight as we had last night. Obviously, a different result would be nice. Lou Trevino, not Lee, as Skraby would have you think. The right-hander, Lou Trevino, who's a reliever, will start for the Dodgers tonight. Dylan Cease, and this just doesn't seem accurate, but it is, 1-5 with a 4.72 ERA. And frankly, he's been pitching pretty well lately. Just can't get another win. We got to get him one tonight.
That's what I said after his last start. Like, he hasn't been terrible.
No,
he's been definitely serviceable.
One of the problems for Cease, he's been throwing too many pitches, and he can't get through the 5th or 6th inning.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, that can be an issue against the Dodgers because they don't swing at anything unless it's right there. That's one of their secrets. That's one of the Dodgers' secret sauce is that they don't swing.
I also want Dylan Cease to exercise some of those demons from the playoffs.
Good point. Dodgers got him pretty good last year in that playoff game. We'll see what happens. 6:40 tonight, and the Sammy Levitt pregame at 5:40. We had
Alden Gonzalez.
Alden Gonzalez. Duh. Brain cramp. Alden Gonzalez on earlier from ESPN. And he had, I thought, something really good. I asked him basically what his take is on the Padres moving forward this year. I wanted to play his answer if you missed it, because it's an intelligent answer, and it's something I think all of us should remind ourselves from time to time, that even though we live and die with every pitch and every result, this is a good team. And there are a lot of reasons to believe that they will continue to be good.
Oh, that was my cue.
Alden.
Okay.
Yes.
That was my cue.
I know.
I think good teams find ways to win games when they're not at their best. The Dodgers have done that for years, particularly during the regular season. Padres, as a team that is able to do that right now. As you mentioned, Tatis, Arraez, Bogarts, Merrill. Those guys are not at their best right now. It seems like Manny Machado's been, you guys know better than me, but it seems like Manny Machado's been carrying them for a month.
Yeah.
But they're winning games, and they're pitching well, and they're coming up with timely hits. And yes, they're winning a bunch of one-run games, and, that stuff tends to revert back the other way sometimes. But I think they're showing the functions of a good team, a team that just finds ways to win. And no matter how shorthanded they might be, and after losing last night, they are 2 games out of the Dodgers for first place in the National League West. I think if you're a Padres fan, you got to feel really good about where they're at, because, Tatis is going to get going again. I promise you that. Bogarts and Arraez and definitely Jackson Merrill will too. They're going to be better than they are right now. It doesn't mean that they don't have holes that they got to shore up. They got to shore up the bottom third of their lineup in drastic ways. And depending on how it goes with Yu Darvish and Michael King, they're probably going to have to look for starting pitching at the deadline too. But they are a better team than they've shown over these last few weeks. And even in the midst of that, they are accumulating wins. And I think that's a really good sign.
That last little part to me is the most important. No matter how they're playing, they're still winning.
Right? Yeah, they're still winning. They really aren't scoring runs at all. I know they got 6 last night, but again, we pointed out after the 3rd inning last night, the final 7 innings of the game, they had a single by Sheets, a 2-out walk in the 9th by Fernando, and Merrill's double in the 10th. That's it. They didn't get anything after the 3rd inning last night. So offensively, they're still scuffling. And here are 3 guys that I think are the biggest culprits. Okay? You choose who you think the biggest one is, or you choose, to not feel like they're culprits.
Okay.
First of all, Fernando and Merrill are not on this list. Although both are struggling, I have the utmost confidence in their track records that they will get going sooner rather than later.
Every time Fernando gets a hit, I'm like, there it is.
I know. Manny's obviously not going to be on this list. He's almost the MVP of the league. But there's 3, and Gavin Sheets is not on this list. Here's the 3 guys that I got to be honest, I do have my concerns. I'll start with the least concern, and the least concern is Luis Arraez. The reason I have the least concern is because his track record says he hits .325 and wins the batting title. Unfortunately, he's .274 right now, and we've talked about this already, Skraby. Luis Arraez hitting .274 is not very valuable. You need a higher average from him because he doesn't walk and he doesn't steal, so he doesn't create additional bases, which means he has to be on base more often.
one of the things that you say is that he clogs up the bases. And last night there was an example of that when Manny hit a double and he had to stop. Well, I mean, I don't know that they would have sent him. I think they would have if he was a
really
little bit
fast
faster.
Runner could have scored there, but he ended up scoring anyway.
Okay,
on a sac fly.
But anyway, that was the example of what you talked about.
Agreed. Arraez is my least concerning of the three. My second least concerning of the three is Jake Cronenworth. Jake is so well liked by all of us, I think, and all the fans, I think. I think he gets a little bit of a pass, certainly when you compare the dislike to that of Xander Bogaerts.
It's all about the contract.
It must be.
It's all about the contract.
Bogaerts, 3 home runs. Jake, 4. Bogaerts, 21 RBIs. Jake, 15. Bogaerts, 232. Jake, 236. OPS, Jake's quite a bit better there. 763.
Bogaerts is in the 600s.
Way down. 637.
It's hard to look at those numbers when they put them up on the screen.
Yeah. So it goes without saying who my third concern is, right? But Arraez, Cronenworth, Bogaerts. And the reason none of those 3 guys are going anywhere, whether you want them to or not, they're playing out the rest of the year. They're not trading any of them. They're not replacing any of them. So 1, 2, or 3 of those guys need to do better. Just frankly have to do better.
I was thinking about this on the drive down, and I think I'm not concerned about those guys. The only one that's not performing to where I thought they would be is Luis Arraez.
Okay.
Jake
Cronenworth is where you thought 15 RBIs?
Well, he was also hurt for a while, so that's part of the number.
He missed 20 games.
So that's part of the number. But
15 RBIs, though.
Coming into the year, Xander Bogaerts finishing the year at 250, hitting 250 with I don't know, an OPS of 750. That was what I was thinking he was going to do.
He's nowhere close, Skrabe. 637.
I know. I want him to turn the corner bad, but he just cannot turn the corner. And it's he's not. Sometimes he's not even making great contact with the ball. He's infield hit guy.
All right, you and I need to turn the corner, check some traffic, and then back with our Skraby segment ahead of the pregame show as Gwynn and Chris continues.
Well, Dylan, I think the first obvious question, long hair, long beard, is have you had a shave since the last game of the season?
I don't think so.
Man.
I don't think so.
That's great.
Why is that?
Just changing it up. Why not? You know?
Okay. All right. I'm jealous of the beard because I'm a guy who likes to grow a beard, but your beard, how long did that take to grow?
I think this is 3 months, maybe.
3 months.
Now,
okay.
is this going to stay as we get into spring? You're going to keep it? Because I don't think I've ever seen you. I've seen the beard before. I don't think I've ever seen the hair.
No, I haven't had hair like this since I was 12. I'll probably keep it. We'll see how it performs, really.
That's the key. How does it perform?
That's the biggest thing.
Speaking of perform, how you feeling, man? Obviously, spring training right around the corner, pitchers and catchers report. This is the time of year where the green light goes on again.
Yeah, I feel good. Working on a bunch of different stuff. Biggest thing is really just getting the body to feel good and getting ramped up. But I feel like I'm on track.
How do you deal in terms of getting yourself ready each and every year? You know, ball players are notorious for always trying to figure out how to get a little bit better. You're probably one of the most consistent guys in our league. Is there as much a focus on finding ways to get better, or is the focus how to continue on the path that you've been on, which is a guy who can get in a lot of innings every year?
I mean, I guess it kind of depends on what part of the offseason I'm in and, you know, what I'm trying to work on. Like specifically this offseason, I've made a little mechanical adjustment, tinkering with some new pitches. But the bulk of it is just getting my body ready, really. I mean, that's the main focus, main priority. So I kind of know where I need to be in terms of like my velocity and bullpens and building up and all that. So I always like to think I'm adding. I'm definitely working on new pitches and exciting stuff like that. So, but at the end of the day, I kind of know that my four-seamer and my slider and my curveball are kind of going to be my main pitches. Right. So it's like no matter what, that's my base and foundation, and everything from there is just tinkering and just seeing if I can get a little bit better.
We're talking to... All of a sudden, my mic over there.
There you go.
Sorry. We're talking to Dylan Cease here,
Don't
Padres
panic.
starting pitcher. I wasn't panicking.
You look like you panicked.
I was panicking for one half.
He made me panic.
Did I look like I panicked?
You panicked a little bit, that's
all
all
right.
right.
Well, if Dylan says I panicked, then I panicked. I'm going to have to ask the question about, and I know you've been asked this today, but your name has been a part of a lot of trade rumors this year. I think Padres fans want you to stay here in San Diego. See, right there? How do you deal with that? Because I would imagine that would be hard.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's my second year in a row dealing with it, so I got experience now. It's just part of the business, I guess. Really, wherever I go, I'm gonna make the best of the opportunity. I love San Diego and I want to be here, so it's like if I don't go anywhere, I love it here. And if they trade me, then I just have to go make the best of it wherever I go.
Now, Dylan, you talked a little bit about working on new pitches and mechanics. For you, how long does a mechanical change take to be something where you don't have to think about it anymore?
Yeah, and that depends. This specific scenario, I'm working on an upper half thing, a glove thing. So I don't know. It's kind of new territory for me.
Yeah. So you're kind of figuring it out as you go.
Yeah, but it really gets to the point where it feels good, and then from there it's just ramping up the intensity. And because anytime you do something at a higher power, higher speed,
yeah,
it's like a new feeling altogether. So I can sit and train it one way, but until I'm throwing 98 with it,
doing it game speed, yeah.
And a lot of it, is kind of like learning my body, and then I'll throw a pitch and it's like, oh, that didn't come out the way I wanted it to. Like specifically, if I'm throwing a four-seam fastball and I'm trying to throw it just through somebody, but it's yanked, it's like, okay,
yeah,
something happened right there. I don't know, something came off. I didn't use my
legs. You could just feel something different about it.
And then you see the shape of the pitch. So a lot of it's just gaining feedback from what the ball's doing, and then trying to manipulate my body to see, like, oh, okay, when I do this, the ball goes this way, and just see if I can't ingrain that.
Well, Dylan, I think the first obvious question: long hair, long beard. Have you had a shave since the last game of the season?
I don't think so.
Man.
I don't think so.
That's great.
Why is that?
Just changing it up. Why not? You know?
Okay. All right. I'm jealous of the beard because I'm a guy who likes to grow a beard, but your beard, how long did that take to grow?
I think this is 3 months, maybe.
3 months.
Now,
okay.
is this going to stay as we get into spring? You're going to keep it, because I don't think I've ever seen you. I've seen the beard before. I don't think I've ever seen the hair.
No, I haven't had hair like this since I was 12. I'll probably keep it. We'll see how it performs. Really.
That's the key.
That's
How does it
thing.
perform?
That's the biggest thing.
Speaking of perform, how you feeling, man? Obviously, spring training right around the corner. Pitchers and catchers report. This is the time of year where the green light goes on again.
Yeah, I feel good. Working on a bunch of different stuff. Biggest thing is really just getting the body to feel good and getting ramped up. But I feel like I'm on track.
How do you deal in terms of getting yourself ready each and every year? You know, ball players are notorious for always trying to figure out how to get a little bit better. You're probably one of the most consistent guys in our league. Is there as much a focus on finding ways to get better, or is the focus how to continue on the path that you've been on, which is a guy who can get in a lot of innings every year?
I mean, I guess it kind of depends on what part of the offseason I'm in, and what I'm trying to work on. Like specifically this offseason, I've made a little mechanical adjustment, tinkering with some new pitches, but the bulk of it is just getting my body ready. Really, I mean that's the main focus, main priority. So I kind of know where I need to be in terms of like my velocity and bullpens and building up and all that. So I always like to think I'm adding. I'm definitely working on new pitches and exciting stuff like that. So, but at the end of the day, I kind of know that my four-seamer and my slider and my curveball are kind of going to be my main pitches.
Right.
So it's like, no matter what, that's my base and foundation, and everything from there is just tinkering and just seeing if I can get a little bit better.
We're talking to... All of a sudden. My mic is over there.
There you go.
Sorry, we're talking to Dylan Cease here.
Don't
Padres
panic.
starting pitcher. I wasn't panicking.
You look like you panicked.
I was panicking for one half.
He made me panic.
Did I look like I panicked?
You panicked a little bit,
Okay.
that's
All
all
right.
right.
Well, if Dylan says I panicked, then
Pregame. Sammy Levitt on the ones and twos there. Jesse and Tony with the ball game. Coming up at 6:40 tonight, Game 2, Dylan Cease. And it'll be a cast of thousands, don't you worry, for Dave Roberts and the Dodgers. Bullpen night for the LAD. I got a couple of quick things before I turn it over to your segment.
you always
Skraby.
steal my segment.
Well, I don't always. But anybody at the ball game last night will remember this happening, I think.
Okay.
About the fourth inning, the balls and strikes scoreboard stopped working.
Oh.
As did the outs, as did the score of the game. The one out in left center stopped working, and the one even on the inside the ring of
ribbon.
the ballpark. Yeah. You don't realize how important a scoreboard is until it goes out. Like, I didn't know what was, you know what I mean? Like, how many outs are there? What's the count? Where are we at here?
At the ballpark for sure.
Yeah. Because nobody's telling you.
No.
If you're home, you got your little score box, you're good to go.
You need to get one of those umpire clickers.
Right. Yes, but they didn't pass those out in time.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate.
Fortunately, it only lasts for about a half an inning. Hopefully they get that squared away tonight.
You know, there's that is interesting. I didn't even because you look up, you're like, oh, how many outs? Oh, wait, I can't see the outs.
Well, you don't know either. There's nowhere to find out. You're gonna run down and ask the ump.
Hey,
yeah, you're in the upper deck somewhere.
Yeah, that is weird.
All right.
I gotta say.
That
was better than I thought, Chris.
And then last night, real quick, the Stanley Cup game. We haven't talked much. Florida beat Edmonton 6-1. Edmonton lost its mind. 21 penalties committed by Edmonton. That's the most in a Stanley Cup Finals game in 35 years.
Wow.
They don't call penalties like they used to. Florida did the all-time job of instigating, and Edmonton fell for it.
Oh, you can't do that.
No.
The retaliator always gets caught.
They did last night. We'll see if Edmonton can behave better and get back into the series in Game 4. NBA Finals also resume tomorrow night, so there's nothing tonight. Now, it is the Skraby segment.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate you.
Yes. What you got? You better have something good in it now that I rushed to get it over to you.
I don't have anything.
You don't
No,
have
I'm just
anything?
kidding.
Great.
We're going to start actually with something that just hit my email inbox from the boss, Adam Klug. Mike Schilt talked to the media down there at Petco Park. And someone we haven't talked about in a while, but is on the roster, on the team.
Yeah.
Luis Campusano. Why didn't they pitch hit with him last night? Why hasn't he been on the field lately?
He really could have pinch hit in the 10th inning. It wouldn't have been the worst move in the history of baseball. Dodgers had a lefty. Sheets was coming up, who's good, but not always great against lefties. Campusano, either that or Iglesias. They were both options. Neither of them was chosen.
So Mike Schilt was asked by the media, I think Jeff Sanders specifically asked,
Tonight,
why have you not been using Campy lately? Here's Mike Schilt's answer.
Campy, I've talked to him about it. He understands it. Doesn't have to probably love it, but, he's been great. I mean, the role basically is just where we're at with the way this club's set up with, Louis being banged up a little bit and him being able to DH and Sheetsy being, the guy DH and, having 800 or so OPS. And then when you get other guys that you kind of rotate, get Iglesias in there and you get Manny or guys like that off their feet, it occupies that spot. And coupled with the fact that, our pitchers deserve all the credit, but our catchers done a good job shepherding our pitchers. And really like what we have going with Maldi and Diaz behind the plate. So all those factors, just don't create as many opportunities lately for Campy.
Here's my theory with nothing behind it, Chris.
Okay.
They're looking for a trade partner. They're just trying. Don't put him down in El Paso because it's not going to help him. Keep him with the big league club in case you actually do need him. But they've got to be looking for something else. He doesn't really have a role on the team right now.
I disagree with you, not because it's just my nature to disagree with you. But if you were actually looking to trade him, you have to showcase him a little. You can't
Maybe they don't want to.
Well, then you're not going to be able to. But then that takes out your theory. Your theory is that they're trying to trade him and they're looking for a partner.
And they can use him if they need him. But, yeah.
You have a better chance of trading him if he's hitting 400 at AAA than you do him just wearing a hole in your bench. So I don't, maybe they are trying to trade him, but this is a funny way to do it by absolutely not letting him play at all. Campusano has not walked out of the dugout since May 31st. That's 10 straight days where he hasn't even been seen.
And I don't know anyone that can go up there 10 straight days of sitting around not doing anything.
He has done
and
nothing.
Pitch hitting in a 10th inning of a
big
You'd be
game. Asking him in a pretty tough spot, right, to come up and get a hit. My thing is this. Why? You only have 4 bench spots. Why are you wasting one with somebody that you don't even think about using? Makes no sense to me. And when you tell me, well, maybe they just don't have anybody else. First of all, there are a couple of guys, at the AAA level that are hitting that you might be willing to give an at bat to. But even if you're not, bring up another fast guy to be a pinch runner.
Something that can help.
Something. Campusano is completely wasted dead weight right now. And that's not on him. It's on them for basically wasting him, I think. I agree with you, though. I would trade him if I could, just to, I feel bad for him in a way. He had 13 at bats. He had no hits, but he had 6 walks. It's not, it's not going to put you in the Hall of Fame, but you're on base 32% of the time. Not an automatic out.
Let's see. I'm looking for some.
They
of the
won't
guys
let
in
him play
AAA.
at all.
They do have a catcher named Cody Roberts who's hitting 343 in AAA.
No.
Anyway,
yeah, we could go on and on.
Tirso's hitting 305 after 45 games. Why not give him another shot?
Evidently, I mean, it seems to me you'd want somebody that you could at least use to do something.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, now the story that Adam Klug and I were talking about for a while before the show today.
Oh, this scares me. Anytime you and Adam get together.
Now, this one I think you're going to be in on because
okay.
Earlier today, Yahoo Sports, so they put up an article and it says Yahoo Sports, All
right, Yahoo
Why
Sports.
Jameson Williams is no longer a boomer bust fantasy football option in 2025. Okay, I'll click that. But at the top, it says this. This article was written with the assistance of Cast Magic, an AI tool, and reviewed by our editorial team to ensure accuracy. Please reach out to us if you notice any mistakes.
Okay.
There are 5 such articles on the Yahoo page right now that are being written by this Cast Magic, or at least when I checked earlier. They fired 2 of their fantasy writers,
right?
Dalton Del Don and Matt Barons, I believe is his name.
Doesn't matter.
But they fired both
Matt,
of them.
But it doesn't matter.
But they fired both of them to make way for this AI tool.
People so that they can use AI to write their articles.
Yes.
Right.
So it got kind of crazy, and so they Yahoo had to actually release a statement about this because now people are like, all right, well, if I'm a writer, what do I do? Because you're going to fire me now. Like, do I need to find a new industry? Do I need to find a new job?
Probably.
Like, what do I do? So a Yahoo spokesperson provided a statement to Barrett Media. Quote, our editorial team has been using an AI tool since the end of February to deliver written summaries of our podcasts. In each instance, these summaries are edited and published by a member of our editorial team, and our use of the AI tool is disclosed at the beginning of the article. We'll continue to invest in our content team and have exciting plans in place for the upcoming fantasy football
it's a
season.
bunch of bull.
All right. So
what was
here's
the last line there?
Our content team and have exciting plans in place for the
Blah,
upcoming.
blah, blah, blah,
we
blah,
look
blah,
forward
blah,
to
blah,
sharing
blah,
more
blah,
soon.
Blah, blah, blah. Not hearing any of that.
So a lot of the people in the world of like fantasy writing are very upset about this, and everybody is talking trash about Yahoo right now.
Yeah.
One of them says, so Yahoo fires 2 titans in fantasy football content creation and replaces them with AI. Don't they realize AI generated content is just an aggregate of content already on the internet? What happens when all content creators are replaced? there won't be any new content.
Welcome to it, people. Welcome to it. You have one way to control it. I'm talking to the listeners.
Yes.
You have one way to control it and one way only. Stop going to Yahoo to get fantasy information. Just flat out stop. If they are going to give you AI only, because really, don't we go to, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Skraby, don't we go to fantasy info to get other people's opinions on what we should do?
That's the thing, opinions.
Right. So we're not going to be getting that. So
we're going to be getting strictly number-based writing.
Right. So stop going to Yahoo and say you're not going to read AI. Now, having said that, everybody's using this now, right? I mean,
I don't like it. No, every article that's
like
written in AI, I can completely tell from the first paragraph.
Okay, but it's happening everywhere. And if you are a writer, heads up, because the future of your profession isn't great. And I don't think it's going to be long. Maybe I'm wrong here again, but who knows? They're going to just AI some, those, page turning books you get in the, paperbacks.
What are they going to? Oh, they're just going to start writing books,
fiction books.
I mean, it probably already has.
Right.
But the thing is,
James Patterson is the most famous guy I can think of. John Grisham, people like that.
Michael Crichton.
Okay, he's dead, but he probably isn't going to write anymore.
Oh man!
But my point being, those guys aren't going to need to write any books anymore because I think AI will write it for them.
Well, that's the thing. You take all the Michael Crichton books, you put them down in there. You could write a new book.
So stop. So don't read it. That's your only chance to keep this from taking over the world is you stop reading it. But I don't think you'll do it. And I think the AI will continue. And the reason I think that is because I started as a sports writer, as you know, before I got into all of this
The Daily
stuff.
Aztec.
Daily Aztec, LA Times, all kinds of things I wrote at. We recognized as sports writers 35 years ago that computers were starting to come in and have the ability, what we recognize as newspaper people, that people were going to start getting their news on computers.
Yep.
Right. This is obvious now, but
yeah.
Remember, we're thinking back 30 years ago.
Yeah.
We're going, they're going to start getting their info on computers. Newspapers are going to start going away. Maybe this industry isn't the best to be going to.
So it took a little, but it's still taking time.
It's still taking time
to work it all the way out.
Oh, but my goodness, Skraby, so many newspapers have gone away. It's not even funny.
No, you're right. You're right.
But here's the thing. We all thought, but newspapers will never go away totally because people are going to always want to go out on the beach or out on their patio or in their backyard and read their newspaper. And they'll never be able to do that on a computer desktop.
Oh, wait, I have one in my pocket now.
Yes, you do. We didn't think of that, is what I'm telling you.
Well, no one did.
Right. We didn't think of it. So that's my point with AI. There's stuff you haven't thought about yet that's going to happen.
No, like Adam and I were even talking. They could take all of our voice, our stuff we've done over the years, and probably make a show out of us. Without us,
they could probably get all the Chris vs. the Fans questions correct.
Oh, hey, I'll use AI to write Chris vs. the Fans questions. That's the only thing.
All right, here comes Sammy with the pregame. We're back tomorrow. Bye-bye.